Notice as I back up, I don't turn my back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, we already approved it, and we already voted. We will start right at 6 o'clock p.m. So at this time, please go ahead and silence all of your devices. Please make sure all of your devices are placed on silent so we want the interference. As we will start at 6 o'clock p.m. The time is now 6 o'clock p.m. This meeting of the Selma City Council is hereby called to order. At this time, can we please have Reverend Colin Lett to please offer us our invocation for the evening. Reverend Colin Lett.
Good evening. May we bow. Lord our God, we thank you for this privilege, the privilege to make it to 2022. Thank you, Lord God, for your keeping presence, for you are a deliverer, a sustainer. You are the lover of our souls. And Lord God, we just pause and say we love you for allowing us to make it this far. Hallelujah. Hallelujah for the beloved city of Selma. Lord God, bless our mayor, bless his administration, bless his family. Lord God, bless this council, this legislative body of the municipality. Lord God, bless all of our elected officials, bless all of our citizens as we have gathered here for the business of the city of Selma. Lord God, bless our efforts. May there be no motives that might divide us, but Lord God, let this be the business of building up a better Selma. Bless us, Lord God. Lead us as only you can. And give us a mind and a heart of love and humility, that we might truly be guided by your Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord God, for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. In your master's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Reverend Colin Lett, for our education. Everyone, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, at this time, we're going to ask our clerk to please perform our roll call for the evening. President.
Councilman Harden, Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Present. Councilman Carmichael.
Present.
Councilwoman James. Present. Councilman Randolph.
Present.
Councilman Jennifer.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas. Present. Councilman Johnson.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Madam Clerk, for our minutes. And everyone who's speaking tonight, I'm going to ask that everyone please make sure you speak into the microphone as we are being recorded today. So please make sure you speak into the microphone so that you can be heard clearly. Thank you all ready for that. The character trait of the month is effort. All growth depends upon activity. There is no development physically or intellectually without effort, and effort means work. Let us all remember our character trait for the month, effort. Now, at this time, council, the chair is going to ask for approval for tonight's agenda. Before we ask for that approval, we need to add 2 items to our agenda. First, we need to add an executive session per request of the city attorney. We'll do that following the mayor's report. We're going to ask that we add an executive session to our agenda. And also, we have Mr. Harbert Spencer here to discuss a matter concerning Dallas Academy. And so we're going to ask that we bring him under citizens' concerns as well. Are there any objections to those additions to our agenda for tonight? All right, with that said, is there a motion to approve our agenda with those additions? All right, is there a second? Please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilwoman Jamie Thomas to approve our agenda with the additions. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harden, Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Yes. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James. Yes. Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jennifer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas. Yes. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you for your votes, council, and thank you, Madam Clerk, for taking the vote. Before we continue, we would like to say Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
You
you.
can smile. Even through the mess, you still smile. We're thankful to be here tonight. We're thankful to see 2022. And as Reverend Colin said, grateful for this opportunity to conduct people's business. We want to welcome you and wish all of you a happy and a prosperous 2022. Now, council, we'll move on with the rest of the items of our agenda. The approval of the consent agenda. We do not have one for the evening. So at this time, we'll move on to the approval of council meeting minutes. And Madam Clerk, at this time, we present said minutes.
Yes, sir. I'd like to say good evening again and happy new year to everyone. Council, you should have before you the minutes of December 14th, 2021. These minutes are before you for your approval. If there are no questions or concerns, I'd like to ask you to consider favorable consideration.
All right, council, as our clerk has stated, we have before us the minutes for December 14th, 2021. Are there any corrections, additions, deletions, or comments about these minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Carmichael to approve our December 14th, 2021 minutes. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Harville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jennings? Yes. Councilman Randolph?
Yes.
Councilman Dennison?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jane Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, council, for your votes. Now we'll move on to our announcements. And I did receive a text from Attorney McGuire saying he might be running late. Has he arrived yet? Attorney McGuire. All right, is he here? Okay, we'll move on and not, I'll try to cover in his absence if he's not here. Next, we want to get the report from our ad hoc committee, former Councilwoman Angela Benjamin. Former Councilwoman Angela Benjamin, is she present? Okay, well, hopefully she'll be arriving soon, and we'll take that up when she arrives. Attorney McGuire, just in time, sir. I think he had a court proceeding this afternoon that ran long, so he's here on behalf of the members of the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated to discuss an event that is planned in our city this weekend. Welcome, Attorney McGuire.
Thank you so much for having me. Greetings to the council president, the mayor of this great city, and the council women. I'm Attorney Donovan McGuire, and I'm here today representing the brothers of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the Delta Pi Lambda chapter, as well in partnership with the Selma Center for Nonviolence, Truth, and Reconciliation. We're here today to come back again, just to announce to you and the citizens about the MLK weekend celebration. We will have a parade. It's going to be scheduled for this Saturday, January 15th, starting at 10 o'clock a.m. Line up again about 9:15. So thank you for all you who have already committed. We're still allowing people to participate. We have approximately about 20 people already signed up to line up to participate in the parade. At the conclusion of the parade, it will lead up to the Youth Day, which will be held at the Riverfront Park. And spearheading that event will be the Selma Center for Nonviolence, Truth, and Reconciliation. And I would just like to say, as far as events are concerned, one of the things that we're trying to do is create unity. Oftentimes, people look at Dallas County and we break it up in different sections. But at the end of the day, we're all in this together. So I want all of us to come out, as I told you on the radio, from Oval all the way to Burns, Tyler all the way to Plantersville, Valley Green. I want everybody to come out and support. I understand that COVID is going on, so we do want people to adhere to the COVID guidelines as well. I know we'll be outside, but we will space everybody that's participating in the parade accordingly, to try to keep everything safe for everyone. Because the pandemic is not over. It is not over and everything. And we do want to honor our dear brother, Dr. Martin Luther King, who has committed his life to unity and unifying us as a people. So I thank you guys so much for just giving me the opportunity to stand before you and speak. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions? City Council, we were signed up for this parade. We've been signed up, so hopefully everybody on the council will be able to make it. Hopefully Clay will have his truck ready, Councilman Carmichael. We'll figure out something. We'll get a big car or something, but we'll figure out something. The council is scheduled to participate in this parade, honoring the life and legacy of Dr. King. And thank you, Attorney McGuire, and thank you to those brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I guess you all are really ice cold because it might be cold out there in the morning, Saturday morning, but I think everybody can handle it. So thank you for that. And I saw Miss Aika Sanders Jackson walk in, and I know that they're in partnership with the Alpha. And I just want to make sure she's provided an opportunity to discuss the virtual option if she would like to. This is a partnership between the Alphas and the Selma Center for Nonviolence.
Thank you so much. I'm here for something else, but glad to get the opportunity to say that because our COVID numbers have gone up so much in Dallas County, and unlike the moving parade, ours is people gathering together outside, but gathering together. We have decided to do it virtually. And so we are encouraging people to tune in following the parade. Nothing will happen before the parade is over, but following the parade, still all geared towards young people. And so we will have organizations feature talking about what young people can do and get involved in. So if you have an organization that is connected and involved with young people or looking for volunteers for your organization or business, please do get in contact with Drew Glover. His email address is dglover@selmacntr.org, selmacntr.org. All of the information as well will be on our website and our Facebook page, and people can follow all day long. We will have a panel of youth to talk in addition to the organization speaking. So it'll be a wonderful day following the parade to keep young people engaged. So just tune in on our social media or on Black Belt Community Foundation social media.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you to both organizations for your commitment to the life and legacy of Dr. King. We appreciate both of you. Another item, Councilwoman Benjamin, is she arrived yet? Okay, we'll keep going. Council, are there any other announcements that need to be made? We'll start with Councilwoman Jane Thomas.
Yes, I would like to make an announcement to the city of Selma. We want to welcome Auburn University students will be in here on the 19th. We will meet, according to the president of the city council, at the foot of the bridge, and they will join me off of Chestnut Boulevard all the way through Summerfield to Woodrow. They will be in here helping keeping Selma a little free, which they do take part every year. So they're volunteers coming to our city. That's where community service is. And also I want to share with the citizens of Selma into the body of the council. We had a class was offered to us to give us great information on our state local finance recovery, that the final say so from the treasurer of the state on how we are to spend our American Rescue Fund. And also I would like to be sharing with you a video with this legislative branch on some of the things that we were asking that how we could spend our funds on. And it was great. It was a great interest class session. I did it Monday, President and Representative. It was sent to all of us if we wanted to be a part. And I think that was very important.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Thomas. And I'm going to jump in. Thank you, Councilwoman Thomas, for reminding us about Auburn University. Selma, Auburn University, nearly 100 students from Auburn University will be here on Martin Luther King holiday. And they will be cleaning up all throughout the city of Selma. We have asked that Ward 3, Councilman Carmichael, they'll be in his ward, and he gave me the location and already given it to them. Also, Ward 4, with Councilwoman Lisa James, we already have submitted that location. And as Councilwoman Jane Thomas stated, they will also be in her ward as well. In addition to that, several other groups that have miles across the river, the Adopt a Mile program, they will be cleaning up their miles on MLK Day. So this is a day of service, not a day to just sit down, but to actually get out and do something. And what better way to observe service and to observe the legacy of Dr. King to clean up something he loved, the city of Selma. And so we are having a citywide cleanup with Auburn University. We are grateful that they're sending so many students down to Selma to participate in this program. And following the cleanup, when they arrive for the cleanup on Monday, we'll take them to each ward. So we're gonna ask all 3 council members that have been cleaning their wards to make sure they're at the bridge so that the bus can follow them to the right place, because we don't want them to get lost. So we'll coordinate that offline after the meeting, but want to make sure that those council members are present and accounted for at the bridge. And then following the cleanup day, they'll have an opportunity to interact with some foot soldiers to learn more about what took place in Selma so many years ago. So it's going to be a great day. We're grateful for this opportunity, and we're hoping for a wonderful turnout. And if any citizens would like to participate in the cleanup, please feel free to contact any member of the council, and we will gladly assign you to a ward, or if you want a particular place, you have that right as well. So this is open to everybody who wants a clean and beautiful Selma to participate in this effort on Monday, MLK Day, starting at 10:00 a.m. Councilwoman Thomas.
And I'd like to make this announcement too, because Keep Alabama Beautiful, this is the month that we travel to have our state convention with Keep Mississippi and Keep America Beautiful. We had to cancel it, so what I'm gonna have to do is, all the people that were involved in our cleanup in the city of Selma, you know, all of our supplies and things that we use for each cleanup, I would like to have each organization that had a cleanup to get a form from me and to fill out the areas that you clean up in the month and how much debris, approximately how much debris that you picked up. I have to turn this in for our annual report to keep getting our supplies free to us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and now I see former Councilwoman Benjamin, and so I'm gonna ask her to please come forward and offer the report from the ad hoc committee concerning the fire chief. Welcome, Councilwoman Benjamin.
Y'all have your laptop today? Yes. Hey, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm gonna say this again, as I always do, please fix the elevator. Where y'all waiting now? Fix the elevator. So I had to call somebody down to help me with the box that I was bringing up, so I can give you all your stuff back. I don't have all the use of my left arm back, and I kind of framed it. So I had to call somebody down to help bring that up, because y'all gave us an awful lot of information. And I just said, Ms. Ellison, something to give to you all. If you could pull it up with me. Oh, we don't have everything here. Y'all have service? Okay.
So I have what I gave her to give y'all, so you guys will get. So it starts out with a memo to you all, just to guide you, to give you some, insight on what we did, very briefly on what we did. And then it ends with a thank you all, for allowing us to share it. In the middle of this memo, you will find, the results and the recommendation, of the committee. So you don't have it. I don't like to read to you, but I will because I can read. So I'll do that. Members of the Selma City Council, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community concerning one of your selection processes. The following is a very brief summary and special note of the ad hoc committee, later known as the ad hoc, okay? And on the appointment of the fire chief of Selma, Alabama. In November 2021, the Public Safety Committee of the Selma City Council, later known as the council, the committee met and gave us the desires of the council. They later turned everything over to us, including the process that we wish to use. The council dismissed themselves at that point after giving us instructions to agree. They dismissed themselves and turned it over. We met that same day that they met with us. On that day, we agreed to have a pre-meeting, interview, a post-meeting, and then give you all recommendations. So all of those were held, and we're now here to give you all the recommendation of this committee to assist you in your appointment. So I want to say this, the integrity of the process has been kept so intact. What you're about to get now is a hot item. It's been widely sought after. People want it, they wanted it, lots of people wanted it. The media wanted it, community wanted it, the fire department wanted it, the mayor wanted it, the council wanted it. All of you all will be in at the same time today, okay? For the very first time. So we kept the integrity intact for that reason. Detailed results, Mr. T'Challa has the box out there. The very, very detailed results are in a sealed box. Should anybody want to challenge, suggest it be open, that's up to the council, okay? I'm gonna give you the very, very detailed. In that box that he's preparing for you all, sealing, continuing to seal, is our handwritten notes. You'll see handwritten notes of every committee member because I required them to return everything to me. If they had notepads and notebooks, if they had chewing gum, they stick on the phone. That's in the phone because I gathered it at the last meeting. It was like all of it. I was like, all of it. Give me the stuff. And so all of those things are in there, including the very infamous rubric that you all have been asking for. That's in there that we use, as a guide. But the 1, 2, 3 order is in there. You'll see that handwritten. Those things are in that box, and that box is pretty heavy. Okay. So now, I hate y'all don't have your phones. I mean, not your phones. Y'all don't have access to Wi-Fi here. So what I want to say. But anyway, so each committee member, after discussions and meetings and processes and bumping heads like committees do, we came up with, at the end of the day, we were going to put all of our recommendations in 1, 2, 3 order. A fifth grade could read, right? 1, 2, 3 order. 1 meaning is the top recommendation of this individual member, and 3 meaning is the last recommendation, okay? And so we took those recommendations, individual recommendations, combined them all together, combined them together to represent the one body note that I want to give you today. So the rubric came into question. Someone wanted to use the rubric. A member said, why don't we use the rubric and use the rubric the last time? I said, because they said we don't have to, but we will use it as a guide. So does the rubric match the results I'm going to give you from the 1, 2, 3 order? Yes, indeed it does. So no problem there, okay? So I'm going to give you now the 1, 2, 3 order without giving the names. You all would have the name in your possession if we had some reception. Okay, you all will actually have the actual name. So I wanted you all to follow this. Can we copy it? Can it be copied, printed, can it be printed out? Okay, she's about to send it to y'all, okay? She's about to send it to y'all. So, our last meeting was held in December on the, same night as the, investiture of our, new judge. And so we held a meeting, that went into time over at the St. James Hotel. That was our last and final meeting. That was our powwow. That was our, do you have any questions? Are there any more concerns? Did you do your 1, 2, 3 order? Did you do all of those things? You know, is everybody satisfied? Anybody want to come to the council meeting? Oh, no, we're good. We don't want to come to the council meeting with you. I did have a volunteer that wanted to come. State Trooper Terry King sends his regard. He could not make it because of quarantine reasons. He does not have COVID, but someone in his vicinity did. And so he erred on the side of safety. He sends his apologies to you all for not being present on the day. He and I were to present to you all together because he helped double check the numbers. All right. And so if you would pull up emails. Y'all have $1 million software. It should be going faster than that in here. Well, now we got it. Y'all got it? You don't have it, Mr. President?
No, ma'am. I do not have.
Can you send me an email with all of them on it and I will see? Oh, they got it. They're getting it. They're getting it. They're getting it. Councilwoman, my councilwoman, can you pull it up on your phone? Can you pull it up on your phone? Are you able to put it on your phone? Y'all gonna share?
For those.
Okay, so you all see the names of the members? You will. So for the sake of the audience and the community, so let me tell you who this committee was, okay? These are citizens that were chosen by the mayor and the council, okay? So these members consist of, and I'm giving it to you in random order. Joe Phillips, I'm gonna give you the 3 former firefighters first, okay? Joe Phillips, Henry Allen, and Kenneth Rose. Those are 3 former firefighters. One includes, as you all know, our very own former fire chief. And then you had myself, Angela Benjamin, and then you had State Trooper Terry King. It's a 5-member board. I don't know if any decided to come. They said they did not want to come. If you are, please come stand with me. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Y'all see the 5 names, right? I'm just gonna call them out. I'm gonna call them person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, and person 5. And you have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see 5 people. I'm gonna call, you see them by name, and I'm gonna call them person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And now I'm going to give you the results of the committee. So thankful for the committee too. Okay. Person 1 in 1, 2, 3 order. Person 1, Willie Mason and Walter Daly, they tied those 2 for first, and then they gave Franklin Edwards, Franklin Edwards second. That's person 1. Person 2, 1, 2, 3 order, Willie Mason, Walter Daly, and Franklin Edwards. And you all can see the name. Okay. Person 3, Willie Mason, Franklin Edwards, and Walter Daly. I did the person 2 right. We'll do person 2 again. Willie Mason, Walter Daly, and Franklin Edwards. Person 2. Somebody was confused. Person 3, Willie Mason, Franklin Edwards, and Walter Daly. Person 4, Franklin Edwards, Willie Mason, and Walter Walter David. Harrison Side, Franklin Edwards, Willie Mason, and Walter David. That is the 1, 2, 3 order. You will find in the box the number, the rubric that we used as a guide. You will find actual numbers, something like 317. They were close, okay? 317, maybe 312, and 3 something. Very, very close numbers. You'll see that one that I told you all that tied, they tied at 77, but the second person that got the second place, they were at 76. And so this is how diverse of a panel you chose. As you can see, the last two had the same exact results, but the other three, you couldn't match them if you tried. So these are the people that you chose. This is what you powwowed over and over again. And so finally, you will see that the recommendation as one body of this ad hoc committee that you have chosen recommends Mr. Willie Mason to be the next fire chief of Selma, Alabama. We know that this is not our appointment and it belongs to you. So we thank you for allowing us to assist you as you choose and you appoint the police chief that you desire to head and lead one of the most infamous and famous departments. Without public safety, where would we be? So thank you all for allowing us to assist you. We look forward to now who you choose and who you appoint to be the fire chief of Selma, Alabama. I can stay for questions or I can sit it down because I have to come back anyway for another presentation.
Thank you, former Councilwoman Benjamin. And thank you to the committee for their service. Council, are there any questions at this time? All right, Councilwoman Benjamin, thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
All right, happy New Year.
You too.
All right, council, we'll now take all of that under advisement right now, and we'll move on with the rest of our agenda. The next item.
Mr. President, I'm sorry for the interruption. I just want you all this stuff. This is in a sealed box.
Okay.
We'll have my initials across it. Y'all can unseal that, please. Find all the results in there. Handwritten and typed.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Benjamin. All right, and Ms. Ellison now has the minute. All right, now we will move on. Any other announcements before I go to any other announcements? All right, now we move on to citizens' concerns. And first, we have Dr. Suzanne Judd representing UAB Rural Heart and Lung Study. She's not present, okay? All right, we will schedule at another time. All right, and next we have Dr. Verdell Lett Dawson here regarding renaming a street. So at this time, Dr. Lett Dawson, you have the floor and welcome to the Selma City Council. That's Reverend Collins and.
Thank you, Mr. President. To Mayor Perkins, to Council President Young, to Councilperson Jamie Thomas and Councilman Sam Randolph, and all other members of the Selma City Council. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you this evening. I am here today on behalf of the Historic Tabernacle Baptist Church, where Dr. Otis Dion Culver is pastor, and the Historic Tabernacle Legacy Foundation of yours truly, Verdell Lett Dawson, board chairman, and the Selma Center for Nonviolent Truth and Reconciliation with attorney Anthony Jackson, executive director, who is present. Present here tonight also a foot soldier, Mr. Charles Malden and Mr. Kurt Harrington, who also support this effort. Many of you already know that Tabernacle is listed on the National Register of Historic Places as the site of the first mass meeting of the voting rights movement. The date was May 14th, 1963. The organizer of that mass meeting was Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. He came to Selma in early 1962 and helped the Dallas County Voters League, commonly known as the Courageous Eight, in revitalizing the struggle for voting rights for colored people in Dallas County. This is the document. The Civil Rights Movement in Selma, Alabama, from 1865 to 1972, multi-properties entry in the Alabama Register of Landmarks and Heritage Sites. Lafayette served as the director for the SNCC Alabama Voter Registration Project starting in 1962. And he and Celia L. Lafayette began their voter registration clinic in February 1963. Long story short, the underground voting rights movement in Selma had gone on for decades, beginning in 1920. Did not rear its head until the death of Mr. Sam Boynton, and it reared its head because when Mr. Boynton died, Mrs. Boynton and Reverend Lafayette at that particular time wanted to have a memorial service and a mass meeting. So the first mass meeting was held at Tabernacle because Tabernacle was the only church that would have that accepted that invitation. But Dr. Lafayette has never received recognition for his contribution to the voting rights movement in the city of Selma and the nation. So that's why we are here tonight. He is also of special note here in Selma because on the same night that Medgar Evers was assassinated in Mississippi and Reverend Elton Cox was sought to be assassinated in Louisiana, Bernard Lafayette was assaulted with the intent to assassinate him here in Selma, Alabama at 1703 Union Street. He did not back down from that, and he was saved by his neighbor, Red, who stopped the attack. But that was a three-state conspiracy to eliminate the top three civil rights organizations in the nation at that time. NAACP in Mississippi, CORE in Louisiana, and SNCC in Alabama. We are here tonight on behalf of, well, in conjunction with Councilwoman Janie Thomas from Ward 7 and Councilman Samuel Randolph from Ward 5. And they gave us permission to come and ask you to help us give Dr. Lafayette overdue honoring for the services that he has rendered to Selma. The first thing that we want to ask you to do is to rename Union Street from J.L. Chestnut Boulevard to 4th Avenue in Ward 7 and 5 to Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. Street. If you authorize us to begin the process tonight, then we will begin the naming, which is going in petitions and so forth, and all of the things that you are familiar with. Once that is done, it will be brought back to you, and if you will give your approval, then we would like to have a street renaming ceremony on March the 3rd in conjunction with the 2022 Bridge Crossing Jubilee. Also, we want to ask that on May 14th of every year, that will be declared Dr. Bernard Lafayette Junior Day in Selma because that was the date of the first mass meeting for the voting rights movement as it was held at Tabernacle. We also intend on that day to place a historic marker at 1703 Union Street, and we're hoping by that time you would have been renamed to 1703 Dr. Bernard Lafayette Junior Street. And that marker will be placed with the permission of the property owners who are the children of, some of you know, Mrs. Margaret Moore. So, a recap. We're asking for the renaming of Union Street from Dale Chestnut Boulevard, 4th Avenue to Bernard Lafayette Junior Street. We're asking that there will be cooperation between us and the city in the street renaming ceremony on March the 3rd of 2022. We're asking the designation of May 14th as Dr. Bernard Lafayette Junior Day on an annual basis in Selma. And we are asking for your participation with us in the erection of an Alabama historical marker ceremony on May 14th, 2022, to be held at 1703, hopefully Dr. Bernard Lafayette Street. Thank you for this consideration of our request to honor this man who is very humble, and he is one of the few remaining surviving pioneers of the civil rights movement, but he has never received any citywide recognition for the contribution that he made, because he laid the foundation for Dr. King. Without his efforts, then there would not have been activities that went on. Everybody thinks about the voting rights movement starting in 1965. Here we have proof that it had been going on since the 1920s, but it reared its head for the first time publicly in 1963. That's why we're here tonight, and we're asking for your approval.
All right,
Other questions?
thank you for that presentation. And now we're gonna open it up for council members, and we'll start with Councilwoman Jane Thomas.
As I spoke, that was great information for the history over in Ward 7, and also Councilman Randolph. And we met, and we know the process that how we do this through our attorney of Business Street. And our attorney, one question I would like to ask you, because of the time and the dates that she had, and things that each representative in this district that we are going to have to go out to get signature. Have you started the process to find out the name of Union Street, or is there any biological information or anything yet on that? Because she's saying March, she would like to. I'd like to know if there is process.
The formal process has not been started, but coming on the heels of Buckeye Avenue, the process is a lot clearer and should take a lot less time this time around. March the 3rd is a little bit less than 2 months. It can conceivably be done. The key is researching to ensure that there was no memorialization of Union Street or Avenue as such. And now that I've gone through that process with Buckeye, it should take a lot less time, and it's conceivable that that can be done.
Thank you. And because we don't want, she gave us the dates, and in that time frame, Councilman Randolph and I will both have to, from Union to his end, we, the respect of the citizen in that area naming the street, you have to be able to get him to hear I'm quite sure some of them, everybody's not listening to the history, what she just said. Maybe, we'll be able to get our constituents on Union Street to be there to hear her say this, because the citizen in that resident plays a big role when we rename the street, and we have to honor them and respect them.
The citizens on that street have to be polled and by city representatives.
Yes.
That's twice, one weekday and one Saturday. The real key again, though, is the research. The
Yes.
polling can take place, depending on how many people are involved, in a matter of a few days. The research, which now involves basically a national research arm, and two local organizations, the library and the old Depot Museum. That's the research, I think, is what has an open-ended date right now. But presuming, and I was about to say presuming, understanding that I can get that started as quickly as tomorrow is not going to present a problem with the research. We can send people out over a matter of a few days. So 2 months, approximately 2 months.
Okay.
Should be enough
Yeah,
time.
that's what we just want. She gave us the date. and
March the 3rd, I think she
they wanna
said.
move on,
March
you
the
know.
3rd is what she was talking about, and then May.
All right, I know Councilman Randolph, this impacts your, board. Would you like to make any comments?
Go back, history, history, people, for the community.
Any other
Council President,
comments?
I have a comment. I believe you should already have the application, right? Okay. That's what starts the process. And once the application is filed, all the other things will be kicked off officially. We've had some discussion already as the point, thanks to Councilwoman Thomas and Dr. Lett and Ms. Jackson.
All right, any other comments from any other councilman?
May I ask a question, Mr. Attorney, the application, is that the invoice? That was the only thing that we were given.
No, not the invoice. There's a 1 or 2 page application that can be picked up in the clerk's office. We can
We
get it
didn't
in the
get
morning.
that, we didn't get that.
You can get it in the
We
morning.
didn't get that from our.
We'll make it available tomorrow morning. Yeah, I thought you had already got it.
Okay,
We did go by there, but she said it was just an invoice that we were to pay the funds, but she said that there wasn't an application.
Okay. Well, if you've got an invoice, just, have you turned it in?
No, we have not.
Okay.
We knew, it was our understanding that we needed to come here first in order to get authorization to begin the process. And once you authorized us, then we could move forward.
Well, if the council doesn't object, consider yourself authorized.
okay. All right, and I'd just like to say something on a personal note. Several times to speak with Dr. Lockhead. And every year, of course, during the Jubilee, he attends, but he also comes down to Selma often because he's on the board. And I'll see him out when we're eating. And every time I have an opportunity to interact with him, I learn something new that took place. And I'm grateful to your entities for giving someone their flowers while they still can stand. And Dr. Lafayette has done a significant amount for all of us. I would dare say we wouldn't be in these chairs right now if it had not been for the work of Dr. Lafayette and others. And so I'm grateful that this process is started, and I look forward to those dates. March the 3rd, 2022, and also May 14th, 2022. I look forward to the completion of this process, and I thank you all, and I thank Councilman Randolph and Councilwoman Thomas for working with you on it. Thank you. All right, council, we'll now move on to our next item. Boneyard Pro 3, to discuss dilapidated properties in Ward 6. Dilapidated properties in Ward 6, Boneyard Pro 3. Any representative from that entity? Okay.
I'm back. Council members, you all received a memo, thankful that your internet is not working. I don't know if it was a week ago or days ago from Boneyard Pro concerning dilapidated property. If you can pull that up, it can help guide you. On this one, you really don't have to pull it up if you would like to move along with us, so we can move along quickly. That would work better, I think, for all of us. Boneyard Pro is a new client of my sons and I investment group, Kamal. All of you all know Kamal. Okay, so I am the chief of operations. I'm the free mother in the world. I'm the mother that works. Okay, so we are speaking here with our brand new client today concerning dilapidated property. And I'm speaking to you all because it is my knowledge, my firsthand knowledge, that city property, city building, streets, and byways are the purview of the council. And if you all have changed that and relinquished it to anyone else, any entity or department, please forgive the disrespect. It is not intentional, but it is my knowledge that it belongs to you. So this presentation is to you concerning some properties over in Ward 6 that Mr. T'Challa West, yes, like on Wakanda, T'Challa West has been trying to, well, he's been maintaining it for y'all for a long time, but he's been trying to acquire them so that he can continue to maintain them for the last 8 months. He's been going in the wrong direction. And so a friend of his told him to call me because Angela knows everything. It's like the children say, Mama knows everything. And I don't, but I did know this thing, is that this is the council's purview. And so you get on the agenda is what I told him. The proper channel is to request the presence of the council, state your claim, whatever that is, and then your ask. And so this is what he's here to do. Mr. T'Challa West from Boneyard Pro 3 is going to tell you those bullet points that you have in your email. I've asked him, so for the essence of time, I told him about time, to go on his bullets, stick with those bullets, and if y'all have questions, y'all will ask, right, council? Yeah. So Mr. West, come on and make your presentation concerning those properties.
Today, my name is T'Challa West, and the problem is the area is a magnet for high crime, trash, garbage, dilapidated property, kept home. The city is playing host to it. All right. The reason why I say that is because it's a mess over there. The area has not been cleaned. It's a high crime area for drugs and all types of stuff. And something needs to be done about it. I'm trying to do my best to, get boys bonds and buy back in the community to help our people out. And so number 2, home raised is free. Well kept homes and property suffering. It's suffering from what's going on around. The killing and the robbing and stealing and people is breaking in houses and taking everything about them. So the bank has no choice but to go down. So I'm trying to do something to help that right there. I personally find the neighborhood. Citizens moral to home. They feel ignored by the city. In addition to their property suffering, they are unsafe and trapped inside of their home. From what I've gathered from the citizens in Ward 6, I've spoken with a lot of them. They said that they're speaking on the floor. That's not that they can come out of their home and getting contractors over there that work on their home because of the area is so it's such high crime. People are scared to go over there and do anything. So I've stepped in and tried and do something about the problem. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. And number 4, the area has been unkept and unattended for decades. It has never gotten better, only worse until I recently came in and the person, the apartment complex with Keller Avenue and FD Reese. And I cleaned the whole area over there. And got all the people by there, 67 people was coming in that area every day, doing everything above the moon. And I cleaned it up, got it safe, and I also, in addition to that, I cleaned up the city property too. Because I got them off of my property and they walked across the street to the city's property. And this is not gonna get in the dirt unless the city comes and come and help get it back together, because the neighborhood is destroyed. And I recently purchased property in this area, and I closed on it. The difference is very noticeable already because of the work I poured into it. Are the solutions and the action. The area owned by the city is in terrible condition. It is in need of deep cleaning, high maintenance, and much care. Things the city has not did in decades. It speaks for itself. Because I've been before I purchased this property over this area, I had been visiting that home over the past 10 years, and it has been the same, grown up, volume, debris, everything. It was the whole game of stuff that were out there. So I had that taken care of with my people and my crew at no cost to the city. And number 2, I asked the city to sell the property to me for $1 so that I may continue to make a positive difference in the area, the community, and our beloved city. Thank you for the time and the consideration. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Councilmember, thank you for taking the time to listen. If you've traveled over Keller Alley, if you've heard the police report, if you don't have police reports, you can easily get them to compare them before he got there until when he got there, then you'll know what the difference is. Hey, the name itself tells you the activity. We all know that, so let's just be honest. We know that it is ridden with trash and all the other things. And so his property across the street looks good. Your property is the property that is hosting crime. Your property is the property that's hosting trash. Your property is the property that has not been taken care of in decades. That means council member after council member after council member. The present council member just got this, but it was there for decades before him. So over and over and time again, this same alley has been the host to, y'all already know what.
Are there any questions, council members? Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
I'd like to say this to Mr. Webb. Well, a lot of us are aware of that area that you're talking about. So I would like to say this to you according to, understand what you're saying, we would like that for $1. According to, when it comes to city property, we need to know if any value in that property. You know what I'm saying? I know it looks.
I don't mean to laugh, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I don't mean to laugh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just saying that, according to our selective reading when it comes to the city property, we would like to know if there is any, if we will decide to say that it's not worth, that what it costs for the city, because it belongs to the city. We just, I've been doing a lot of research, because a lot of people come and wanting us to give the property for $1. So I think that that's me. I'm just speaking for myself. I would like to look more further into it. And
Councilwoman, you and I worked on this together, so it's not just you and me.
Yeah.
You and I worked on finding information concerning this, and so you and I got an email when I was on the council from Rob saying about value of property. If it's worth nothing and it's gonna cost the person more that you're gonna give it to, then of course you can give it for.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
if it's not, then you can trace that value up to what is reasonable. So you have email, I have email, we worked on it together when you called me. So we got that done together, Mr. West, and that's what she asked.
And this is
Whether it cost them more or less. You all know the area, y'all determine that, and that is his ask, and I'm sure y'all are gonna consult with your attorney, your very attorney.
All right, any other questions? Oh, yeah, question.
For the council personnel order, yeah, I think that's something that Mr. Junior may be with us on, with the city, he may want. And that's the city.
How long have you been with the, admin?
I spoke with him
And then how many times after that?
they inquired about it, and then they, checked me out. Emailed me some stuff about it.
And you talked to the city attorney, right?
Okay, all right, go ahead, Councilwoman James, then Councilman Jefferson.
First, I want to applaud your effort, and I do know that area, and if you go on around the corner, there's Miller Avenue, and I was raised up on Miller Avenue. So I applaud your effort, my church is in that area, and I think it's a community, communication piece, once everybody come together, walk and go in, because I love to see people come, want to do and give back to Selma, and honor giving back to Selma, making things beautiful. I'm for that. And I just want to thank you because I have rode by the area. We have plenty of students that live in the area, so I know the area very well. So, and to see your pictures here, which I was wondering, this is my first time doing it. So, I was wondering who had seen that area before. I really have, because this is my first time here, and I just want to thank you for what you're doing. And I think it's just a communication piece between the council and everybody else that you need to,
Councilwoman James made a very important part, councilmember. Children travel that street, so it is a right way to the schools. If you know how traveling to school was, if you ever had to walk to school, it is a right way to the schools.
All right, Councilman Jefferson, and then we're gonna try to wrap this one up. Councilman Jefferson?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, for going over, cleaning up and taking the time out of your hard schedule, to make it look better towards the effort of the community. But, at the same time, it's been a nuisance for a while over in the community in the area. The house has been torn down and dilapidated and torn out and ran through and everything. So we know all about that neighborhood. So we don't need to talk down no more about it, because it's already down.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is find out what's your plan and your projection for that neighborhood, for the development part. That's part of our decision, is moving, to find out how your development is gonna be for that neighborhood, for planning out what you need, information, what kind of, finance and how you want to do it, or what needs to be done in that neighborhood, just by giving you something or you paying it out and it's still the same. I mean, we still ain't went nowhere. So we need to find out what's your plan and what's your objective towards that neighborhood to make that community better than what it is. So we already know what that's about.
Thank you.
Councilman Jefferson, I did ask that question, why was he sent to the Office of Planning and Development when it's laid in your hand? It lies in your hand, it lies in all of your hands. And why was he sent to the city attorney, and why was he told all things come to them concerning public property? So I did ask that question, and I'm glad you brought it up, because he is not a developer. He does want to maintain your property for you, though. He does want to do that.
All right, thank you. That's an issue that we are going to take under advisement,
Thank y'all so much.
and we're gonna work on that, and definitely get Councilman Jefferson, since it's his ward, at the forefront of that. And so, we look forward to working on this, trying to come up with some type of viable solution. And I too would like to thank you for what you're doing, as true community service, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Councilman Jensen, can we count on you to meet with him within the next week so you can present something from your perspective to the council?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Councilman Reynolds?
Because we're, when we Yeah, I don't know about what he's playing in your ward, but I know on Green Street, in my ward, he's over the house, house on Green Street.
Oh, yeah, they was.
So I just want to let y'all know, good work. He seemed like he bought every house on the block, just, Michael Dawson now.
It is for sale.
I think he bought every house on the block, he fixed it all out.
Great information, Councilman, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Can we get a copy of this information, for the company?
Can you get with Ms. Ellison so we'll have your contact information?
Yes.
All right, thank you again.
Thank you
We
very much.
appreciate you.
It was so good seeing you all again.
All right, we'll move to Mr. Harvey Spencer here to discuss the matter involving Dallas Academy.
We never talked. Excuse me, let me just make something clear. I listened to that presentation and I am somewhat disturbed by it. First off, this gentleman and I never had a conversation. All right. The second thing is this. The Planning and Development Department of the City of Selma has every right to prepare processes and procedures so that we can orderly develop our community. That's their job. Thank you. I hope that's accomplished.
All right, Mr. Spencer. Okay.
Mayor, and city council members, and all citizens of Selma and Dallas County. My name is Harry Spencer, and I'm back, and I'm just trying to show the interest that we have for taking of the Dallas Academy. I sit on the council for the committee for Selma's historic preservation, and I'm acting financially on my own for my wife. And we've also been interested also in the other Bird Elementary, but at this time, we have been brought to our attention that we want to go ahead and see if we can financially help the city get the Dallas Academy to conform to building codes, and we can get a certificate of occupancy, so we can try to enjoy this for the people of Selma and the county as a public use. The building has been sitting for some time now. It's 2022, and I think our priority now is to try to make this this building, it's also a historical preservation, and we want to make this in the interest of my family and as well as the citizens. So today, we kind of like to go on record that we'd like to help for the exterior and interior neglect of this building. And if we can just knock it out and get started, and by working with Ms. McKinney and the mayor and the councils that we need to get on to make this go forward. I'm a little concerned that 2022, and it's been sitting for a while, and a lot of people know that the ceramic shop is down there, and they have some other avenues that maybe they could go, but I figured, why don't we, my wife, step up financially, see what we can do, get with the inspector, get with the fire marshal, and see if we get with the city council, and get this building up and going, because it's a beautiful, beautiful building, and we have a lot of buildings here that people purchase that came back in town. It's great to purchase something, but you gotta bring up the code, you can't just purchase something, you gotta make it work. And I'm trying to make it work for the city, and I'm trying to make it work for all the people of this county. It's my opportunity to step up financially. I don't want to purchase the building. It's part of the city. I just want to make sure that it's got a certificate of occupancy and it follows all the codes and inspections mandated by the state and county. And that's all I have to say, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. Again, I am really, really fascinated with the history and the historic facades of this town, and I want to help out, and please let me do that. Any questions?
Councilwoman Davidson.
Mr. Spencer, you've been out of action for a minute.
Yes.
We've been having
I'm
meetings.
sure you know.
Yeah, you've been out at a minute or two. We have had public building and have talked about the Dallas Academy. And also we have been talking about, we know it was a part of our hurricane disaster, and some repairs that need to be done at that time. And we also have talked about what else that needs to be repaired, which we do have a director of public building. And I'm planning to call another meeting. And welcome to be a part of this public meeting that we have talking about our city public building. And we have to set the date, and you will be contacted that know we can bring before our committee and discuss some of the things that you're interested in. And we can talk about where we at with the code and the repairs of the building from our public building director. We work together.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm sorry that I wasn't brought up to speed on that. And I guess I find myself a little bit behind the curveball, but I tried to do a presentation for one of the other Bird Elementary. Now I found out that I was custodian for that. We keep it up, and now I found out that the copper plumbing's missing. And I just don't want to see one meeting, with all due respect, go into another meeting and get going. I'm asking, I'll put the funds up, we'll make the structural clear, and then we can move forward. I know that funds are important in this city, and it's just my opportunity to give back. And I appreciate it, and I will get back with you tonight. Thank you.
We have a building, public building
Okay.
committee meeting, and it goes out to the public.
Okay.
And you're welcome to come and address, and I'm quite sure the mayor and all of us, we work together this 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Councilman Randolph had something.
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the insurance give us some money on that doing the crowd administration? I said $40,000, something like that.
Well, the last year, they did, it was a fight. It was a fight, and then we did get paid, the insurance did pay off of that. And also, we did, another claim was filed, for the damage of that. So we do have, for the last meeting we had, it was open to the public, where Mrs. Menifee, the director of public building, addressed and said some of the things that, I told her I would be coming back with an update on where we at with the public building, is what he's talking about, some of the things he's talking about.
And just an addendum to that, I don't know if I'm not place in order, but they also last year put in new HVA systems. And I think they used some of that funding for that. And I'm just trying to get progressive with the building. It's been some time since that was put in, and I just want to kind of just let you guys know how important it is to the city and myself.
Thank you, because it's important to us to get that building.
Yes, sir.
What are the things you want to do in the building? Are you,
Well, my wife is with the arts and pottery, and Miss Candy is on historic preservation. And she had ceramic shops that she was doing for the city there. And since I've been here trying to restore the Henderson House and everything, I thought with the arts already being in there and just left over the years, that the less cost it would be to rehab the place back to this original use, not to change the use, change the zoning or anything, and to bring back that building to like warehousing and let it sit. And I thought maybe a financial stimulation would maybe help that process.
like, you want to paint the building with windows?
No, we would have an inspection with your inspector,
Right.
and then we'd have a structural engineer
Okay.
to see if we conform to the codes, to make it safe for the public to come in, and then apply for the ceilings, maybe have some leaks, some of the windows are replaced, make sure it conforms to the county codes, to have the public come in and use it, because some of these buildings need to have, the codes and structures brought up to today's date. And so then we could use it. So I haven't I haven't had an opportunity to go through the structure. I'll have to go through the council on this next activity and maybe inspect the property with an engineer to see what else we need to make it safe for the public's use.
Have you got the mayor, anybody to go in and walk through?
Not yet. I came in last year, just kind of talked to the mayor about, hey, I kind of want to have this on my radar, and then I have to sit down with the building director for the city, and maybe we get in front of the council, like you said, and then make a plan of action. But like, I was told that, they've been working on that already. but I just want to make sure that you had some financial stimulation for it. That way the city doesn't have to wait for a grant. I'm not trying to keep on horn, but I think the more and more we wait, the more and more money's gonna have to be put in.
All right, we're gonna give this to Councilman
Yes.
Carmichael and then Councilwoman Thomas, and we'll move on. Go ahead, Councilman Carmichael.
What you just said is very true. Put in a work order request because they're completely
Yes.
and there's water coming down through it.
Intrusion's calling, and it's a
So
mold.
very hard to preserve and we don't follow that. So, some of it is going on.
And she did.
Thank you, Peter.
And that's what we trying to tell y'all, when many people coming back, the director of public buildings was coming. The next meeting, she was gonna give us an update
Okay.
on where they at, because we asked with the reimbursement from Zeta to repair the building, where they started to begin to repair. So that's the next meeting, is to give us an update. Everybody aware of the data academy and what we've been trying to do. And I know people want to get back in there, but you want them in there faithfully.
I'd like to yield, Mr. Young. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. You got a long night.
We appreciate it, thank you. All right, council, we'll now move on to, the mayor's report, and we'll have, Mayor Perkins present. Good evening, Mayor Perkins.
Good evening. Remind the council that in the budget that was passed, all of the appropriations for public buildings maintenance was removed from the budget. That's just one of many of the challenges that we have when people say they want work done, but they won't appropriate funds to do. But I think if Ms. Menifee, she's there. Menifee, would you unmute?
Yes.
Do you have any money to do any building repairs in your budget?
No, sir.
Thank you.
But if there's any request for, funding for any of these repairs, please bring.
Well, we've been trying to do that for 3 months to get this budget straightened out. And now we have treasurer that's looked at it. We paid somebody $200 an hour, to try to figure it out. They struggled to try to get it done, and now we have a treasurer who has actually gotten it loaded, and there's still all kinds of issues because the things that were taken out of the budget are needed for operating purposes, and it's just not there. So we'll work through it. Ms. Wooten, would you unmute?
I'm here.
Would you speak to the issue with Mr. West and the conversation you had and what was going on with that transaction?
I can speak to what transpired on my behalf. I was contacted by Mr. West. We did have a phone conversation. One conversation about what he was doing in the area. And, he wanted to inquire about the city's portion of that property. And from several different aspects that he mentioned tonight, one was from a public works perspective. And so I did tell him that, he would need to contact Mr. Henry. Basically, I directed him to all the proper departments regarding his specific concerns. In regards to the portion that did involve my office, which was the development portion, I gave him an overview of what our plan is in regards to, I know the council's very aware that we have started the process of trying to identify tax delinquent properties, put them in categories for city-owned, state-owned properties. We've also moved forward toward the process of trying to work with the Birmingham Land Bank. We were supposed to have a meeting this week, actually, with the Birmingham Land Bank, although that was canceled due to COVID, so that's going to be rescheduled to February. Because as anyone know, all these properties are technically, although we say they're city-owned or state-owned, they're really tax delinquent. And so none of these titles at this point are clear. And so that's why we're trying to develop a comprehensive process for the properties that are tax delinquent, depending on where they are in that process. Because even if they're not even 3 years tax delinquent, then we absolutely cannot do anything with them. But for all those properties that are over 3 years tax delinquent, they have to go through a process to quiet the title and make the title to where we can give it to developers, and they be able to acquire the property, get the clear title, and then do what they need to do with it. And so I explained, our whole plan, our process to him. And I also gave him our developer review guide, which we give to everyone that contacts our office, for them to basically tell us what their plan is, what their proposal is, what they're proposing. And so at this point, that's the only conversation, the only communication, and the only information that I ever received from Mr. West. So I never received anything about what he was actually asking from the city of Selma or what he was proposing to the city of Selma. And so that's pretty much all that transpired from my perspective.
Thank you. The point I make is that, council, we inherited a situation. And the situation we inherited was the result of the council executing administrative functions without executive involvement. And it does bother me when a former city council person would come and advise this council to do what they did to mess up what we inherited. Now, I'm moving on. The BMSS invoice is available for your affirmative vote. We ask that you provide affirmative vote. Yes.
All right, council, Mayor Perkins has presented the DMSS invoice in the amount of $12,267, and it has details about the work that was provided. If you look on,
Can't see it, President.
oh, you can't see.
I can't go on there, I can't see
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes, it's item number 1, the mayor's report, and they detail the bill out, $7,740 for management advisory services rendered. Also out-of-pocket expenses and management advisory. This was very similar to the previous invoices that we have. Nothing out of the ordinary. And they also provide a breakdown of the hours that were given by Mr. Vaughn Hagel and by Shakur Campbell and everything. So it's nice to have that included as well. All that's under item number 1. Still can't see it. You got it, Councilman Plum. All right. Council and the mayor presented this, and hopefully Councilwoman Thomas have a chance to see this now. Is there a motion to accept, remit payment in the amount of $12,267 for all services rendered by BMSS?
So move, Mr. President.
All right, I got, okay. Councilman Johnson made the motion and it was seconded by Councilman Randolph. Been moved and properly seconded. Are we ready for it? Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
Before I cast the vote, I'd like to ask a question, and it's my privilege to ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is this payment, you know, we just paid, before the holiday, before we left, this April, 24,000. This payment that we are making now, is this the payment for, the end of December, beginning of?
If you scroll to the next page, yes, ma'am, Councilwoman, it's on the screen now, the dates.
Okay, but see, the reason why I was asking is because of, I'm very concerned, we are spending tremendous, we're paying a lot of every month, to be MSA. And, have we got another step level from them yet, or stated of instruction of what they, for this report, you know, from them, you know? You
I know we did receive a scope of work at the last meeting. Is there another?
We have another scope.
Is there another?
No, and part of this invoice is for the second phase of, which I believe, and let me back up, I'll answer your question. I have reached out to Mr. Von Hagel and asked him to come before the finance committee and talk about several things that we need to talk about. We were not able to work anything out for this week, so I'm trying to get him on Tuesday of next week. Try to get a meeting. They should be wrapping up their second scope of work, and the majority of these fees were for the interim treasurer for the month of November.
Yeah, we agree for him to be there with us.
Right.
And that's what the majority, that's 7,740, which is the bulk of this bill.
Okay, and that's what I'm asking. And my last question.
Yes, ma'am.
Were we charged the fee? You remember we asked him to come? He's supposed to lead up a policy procedure for the treasurer, and he was supposed to come. Is that where
That's
that
what,
fee
yeah.
is?
I'm trying to work out a time for him to come and be here so we can ask questions about that. And I'm sure his hours, part of his billing hours were for that.
Okay, and then we pay for the policy fee that he drawn up to?
Yes, probably in this deal.
Is it, that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
that's why I asked questions.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
We got a motion, but I didn't hear the second.
Seconded by Councilman Randolph.
President Young,
Yes.
Councilman Harville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael,
Yes.
Councilwoman James, yes, Councilman Randolph,
Yes.
Councilman Jennings,
Yes.
Councilwoman James Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is construction dump truck. This is a piece of equipment that was included in the budget that was presented to council for the landfill, for the inner landfill. We gotta be able to move dirt to and fro, and so right now we don't have a dump truck. We lease it. And we're renting one, I'm sorry, and this particular dump truck, this invoice, the dump truck is priced right at about $187,000. Because the money was not appropriated in the line item, there's no number there, but just know that that was one of the items that was included. The other piece to this puzzle is that we won't need $187,000 in this fiscal year. We don't even need to make a payment in this fiscal year. The first payment will be due in next fiscal year. And so it would be actually at the time of 1 year from the date that we decide to take delivery on the truck. If we don't accept this particular dump truck, it will probably be 23 before we can get another one. So this is really important to us. And I'm hoping that the council will approve it. Now, it would be a lease agreement over a period of 3-4 years, and the payments will be around $50,000.
Okay. And I looked at there, Are those account numbers, they're not valid, is that?
Yes, the account numbers are valid. Those are the account numbers where the money would be if the money was there, but the money is not there because it was taken out and put in the American Rescue Plan line. Well, actually, it was taken out, but it wasn't put in the American Rescue Plan line, but it doesn't change the fact that we got to have a doctor. If we don't do this, right now, what we're paying is killing us.
So we need to pay anything, you said we, the $50,000 a year, and that wouldn't be due until
Next year.
next year.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Councilman Carmichael, we Councilwoman Thomas.
I thought we had an articulated dump truck, an off-road dump truck.
Can't run it on the highway.
So this is not for the landfill, this is for the highway. Is that what I'm understanding?
This is for moving dirt from the pit to the landfill.
Okay, so this is the highway, this is for the dirt pit, this is what cost us will go on with that.
This is for getting dirt to the landfill.
Right, okay, one of the reasons that was taken out of the budget is we asked for a list of our equipment. And I don't think we ever got that list.
We gave you a list.
I don't recall seeing that list itemized like we asked for it, and it was the same with the repairs and maintenance for the building. That was 2 months before we approved the budget, we asked for that list. So can y'all get us that list? Please, if you send them, I apologize, I don't recall seeing it.
We'll read it.
Thank you. All right. Any questions? Oh, yes, Councilwoman.
My question is to chairperson of the finance committee. With the mayor saying, when are we going to get the finance situated with the budget so we can make sure, because we don't want to end to see ourselves in a bind. When we need to make sure that we can use some of this American Rescue Fund for some of these items that public work, because we said that we were going to do this. So with him saying what he's saying, he's want us to vote on, go ahead and vote on this dump truck, which what he said public work needs. And he said that we would not be able, payment won't be due to
Next year.
So my deepest concern is about this. Is there any gonna be any prorated in, no, none of that gonna be added to it? Okay. And that's. Okay, well, we gonna just get it and we're not gonna have to pay the lease or.
Well, if, right now, if they got one, there's one we can find in the country.
Okay.
And if we don't take this one, we out of luck.
I understand we need this, but keep in mind, legislative body, that we added another item to our budget. And I just want us to keep in mind, I know.
I appreciate your concern, and I do understand it. Also recognize, council, that the landfill, historically was posting about $66,000 a year. Over the last 8-9 months, the landfill has collected $177,000. So it's not like we're not doing the work. We just need the equipment so that we don't have to continue to pay all of this money to rent a truck that we really don't need to be doing.
And I agree with you, but I just want us to keep in mind too, that we are getting all of this equipment that we are asking for, and we are at, you understand?
I understand perfectly, Councilwoman.
And I'm watching this.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm very concerned, I want public work to get everything that we need, but keep in mind.
We are watching this.
All right.
We are watching.
Great word, we. With that said, council, we have before us, equipment finance document from Bancorp South dated, January 10th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the purchase? All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilwoman Lisa James to approve the equipment finance agreement for Bancorp South dated January 10th, 2022 for the purchase of said dump truck. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Hartfield.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes, and I appreciate that list, y'all good. Thank you.
Councilwoman James. Yes. Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jimmison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jane Thomas.
Before I cast my vote, I gotta say this. In the previous, next time we have our, council meeting, can our treasurer be, present? So, it was the question that.
She's present.
Oh, good.
Yes, she's present. Yes, she's present.
Okay.
And we'll give a financial report.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we're
she will
going
give a
to
financial report.
we're going to vote, so,
Okay,
okay,
okay.
continue, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Okay. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. The next item,
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Can I answer a question?
Absolutely.
Because I think it's important. I was shooting for the end of December. Schedule did not allow for us to meet before the end of the year. I was trying to pull Von Hagel, BMSS, and Mr. Scott and do all this in one meeting this week. That fell apart. I'm shooting for Tuesday to have Mr. Scott in here so we can get start with our policy and procedures for these funds that we have. So I'm going to try Tuesday, so y'all just be on standby. I will send you guys, I'll send everybody tomorrow a spreadsheet. I pulled together what I think is an equipment list. I pulled that together and I have a list. And I have a document request on some lease payments and those other kind of things. I'll send that out tomorrow. So I'm gonna get everybody some information tomorrow. We're gonna push this along.
The sooner the better, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Voting on stuff to make sure that our finance is set up in the way for us.
thank you. The next item is the mechanic shop repairs. If you recall, one of the things that was done during my previous administration was we opened a mechanic shop to do the routine maintenance of our rolling stock. And by doing so, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars on repairs. We want to go forward and re-engage that process and open this shop back up at 1500 Broad Street. This is the electrical work that needs to be done to bring it up to code. We're asking for your favorable consideration on this purchase order. The only reason I'm here is over $5,000.
You said 15.
1500 Broad Street. That's right there, that's behind, that's right adjacent to the fire station on Broad Street.
Yeah. Councilwoman Thomas.
Mayor, it's fine again,
What we do is, on our rolling stock, we have change the oil, lubrication jobs on all of our equipment, inspections on all of our equipment, changing tires and those things. It adds up. We end up paying a lot of money for that kind of stuff. We can open that shop back up. We can do 75–80% of that work on our own. In addition to that, then you have someone who understands vehicles who would then be working with outside mechanics if we have to send something out. That way you got a mechanic talking to mechanics, if you will, and not having department heads trying to figure out whether or not they're getting the best deal or getting things done the right way.
Yes, yes.
And I think it'd be a good suggestion to do this because in the last demonstration, we spent thousands and thousands of dollars with Firestone and other business. We got our own hand mechanic and do this in favor and send all that money out, contract out to other jobs. I think that'd be a good thing to have in-house mechanics. I think it's a good suggestion.
Mr. President, can I ask the mayor a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, so Public Works does have the mechanic number?
We have a person who is doing a lot of this work already for us, just don't have a location to do it, we're doing it out in the yard.
Okay, so he is hired under the
Yes, ma'am.
city of.
Yes,
Selma.
ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm with it. Council, is there a motion to approve? I'm trying to pull it back up, everybody. To approve item number 3 from the mayor's report, the quote from O.C. Cunningham Electrical Service in the amount of $6,500. Is there a second? All right, please allow this to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Jennison to approve payment to O.C. Cunningham Electrical Services in the amount of $6,500. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James. Yes. Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jennison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is a transfer, a funds transfer transaction. You had asked last council meeting, I'm not sure which council person inquired about the monies that was earned during the auction and the sell-off of the equipment, that surplus equipment, where the answer to the question is $90,721.96. All that old equipment that we sold, we got $90,721. Thank you to Public Works and their effort to get all of that organized and to handle that. And so now we're simply asking that that money goes back into Public Works and be distributed into the line.
Okay. Any questions, council? With that said, is there a motion to approve the budget transfer listed as item number 4 of the mayor's report? All right, it's moved by Councilman Carter, properly seconded by Councilman Johnson. Are we ready for a question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James. Yes. Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jennison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Thank you for, because it was very important that I wanted to know, and the citizen was entitled to know with the surplus of how much that they had made. And I was expecting, you know, I'm sorry, you had to be one, but I was expecting the treasurer to come back, to give that what I asked for, and thank you.
You're welcome, and just know that the treasurer and the mayor works together.
All right.
Thank you for that. We'll move on. Was there something else?
I think we finished. Did we finish the vote? Councilman James Thomas.
I'm going to give my vote.
Yes, ma'am.
But this will keep me out of the way, so I can, a vote.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, the camera system, the last conversation we had, this was going to be going into a public safety meeting. I received a document from a lawyer today, this evening, since I've been here. And I was put in my hand by the council's administrative assistant, and I reserve my comment at this time.
Yes.
I do have some questions. The fire chief's appointment was taken up by Ms. Andrew Benjamin, chairperson of the committee that was appointed by council. Last meeting, I asked for a copy of the rubric and the detailed documentation that was the result of the interview process. Council had no opposition to that. And so I understand that information is now, yes, in that box. And so I would I would like for the council, and not for the council, and me to agree that it needs to be housed in the personnel office. The HR director is here to receive it, and that we'll move forward with trying to get the interviews, the conversation with the candidates done.
Councilwoman Thomas.
It feels like, take time. So let me ask you this question there. If this, I say, I just need to, okay. If this box is where, but to be placed in the HR department, and this is the ruling of the fire chief. So let me ask you this. What is the purpose of the HR department getting the box? Can I ask that? That's my first question.
Because I had asked for the information so that I could complete my process of having conversations with folks. And when I made the request and asked to have those documents while I did that, or when I went through that process, I think it was you who said I had a right to have it.
You have a right to have it, but then when you get ready to open the box, the whole body of the legislation need to see in hand.
Oh, open it now.
Yes.
We can open it now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't have a problem with that, with Ms. Ellison. You
Mr.
want
President.
to open this for the council?
Let me say something. Let me say something. I don't think anyone has an issue with, the box being housed in HR. But open, yeah, I get that about opening it up in front of everybody. I still think it would be good for council secretary to have whatever's in that box as well. So can we make whatever copies for both branches?
Absolutely.
That way both branches have a copy.
You get a copy, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Councilor Carmine.
The city clerk is the custodian of public records, so why don't we keep it clerk office, everybody get a copy.
Would you be okay with that, man?
I'm fine with that. It's an
Okay.
HR, these are HR documents. This is an interview process. Now, I don't want to, well, maybe I need to just pause a moment and just ask a question. What is the issue?
No. Ain't no issue.
What is the problem?
We just want to follow the proper way that we handle it. It's here with this procedure, the way that, Mayor, when we do stuff like this here, that we have taken a vote on, and the box had not been broken by, the body of the council hadn't even looked. That is the law requires us with procedures of stuff like this. And the reason why I asked you why they had to go to the HR department and we had even seen the handwriting or nothing, we hadn't looked at anything, no statement or nothing. And our clerk and our county secretary had given us anything. And I just like keep it straight and real, that we all be fair to see what's in the box or whatever, that's all.
Okay, so I think all of us want to move towards resolution. And so I heard Councilor Carmichael say that the clerk is the official custodian of record. And so maybe until the process is complete, and once it's completed, then refer to HR for prosperity's sake.
Okay.
Like records retention.
So then we will turn the box over to the clerk. The clerk will make the copies and distribute them to the council and the mayor.
I think that's right.
And personnel. Okay, so, okay.
And when it's all over, Mayor.
I'm good with that.
When it's all over.
Yes.
Then, when the appointment's been completed and all that, then we turn it over to HR for records retention purposes. And, I think that's, something.
Oh, you mean the official?
Yeah, once it's.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All I want to do is just get the copy so I can move forward.
Same here, same here.
That's all I'm trying to do. So Ms. Harrison has the document.
Yes, sir.
She will open the box and she will run the copies and make sure that Ms. Ellison
and Ms. Taylor, Don Taylor gets a copy, so I can have a copy, and the HR department can get a copy, so that we can, everybody can do what they need to do. And she'll keep the originals until the process is over, at which time she will relinquish the originals to HR.
Sounds great. Okay, all right. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Public safety appointment authority is on this agenda. Because I really think that we have major issues with public safety. It's difficult to deal with the way things are structured. And so we're gonna have to deal with this up. Because right now, the way things are structured, it ain't working in public safety. Police department's in trouble. Fire department is in more trouble than the police. We've tried it the way that it is. Asking again the council, consider us avoiding a public fight and try my way to step. So we can get past. Because this is a problem. It's a problem. I'm willing to have any sidebar conversations with you individually and meet with you as a group. Get your opinions and your thoughts about it. But this is a problem. The Planning and Development Office had dropped a grant application off to me this evening, late. And I had them to run copies and to bring it up for your review and consideration. This grant application is due Friday. If it were not due Friday, I wouldn't be presenting this to you. But it is an application for is resolution R 133. It is application for $250,000. And we are looking at this is not to fund the project, but to be a part of the funding of a project, and that project being the resurfacing of all of our main streets downtown. From Franklin to Church, from Water to Dallas, to get them all resurfaced, line striped, and everything else. It's gonna cost us, we're estimating about 1.3 million. We're simply trying to stack cash, get it as where we can, as fast as we can. This $250,000 is a grant application we got to compete for. The application has been prepared by the Planning and Development Office. We are just simply asking council, since it does require us to spend some money after the grant appropriation is done, so we need to bring it to you. And let's see if we can get a consensus vote on this so that we can submit this application on Friday. If you have Friday or before, if you have any questions about this, Ms. Wooten is available virtually, and Mr. Henry Thompson is here in person. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the deadline, and you said Friday is the deadline.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me ask the question first. What is the amount this grant is awarded to us?
Well, it's not a match per se. It's not a match per se. What it is the project is going to cost 1.3 million. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. Well, let me put it this way. The estimates that we have done, we've gotten done on the project is going to be somewhere in that ballpark. But this is not authorizing us to do a project. What we're doing is getting authorization to go for the money. The project, once we get this money and we stack the money that we need to complete the project, then the project has to go out for bid. And then we gotta come back again and get authorization at that point to try to spend the money that we stacked to try to get this done. So that's what we're simply trying to get a green light to move forward to go after them.
And I think this year on, rebuild.
Yes, that is correct.
I saw that too, that Alabama League,
That's correct.
talking about this.
We on top of it.
Okay, well, I just have my question, because
Yeah.
you might not ask questions, but I do read stuff.
You're right.
And I'm aware of things.
You're right.
And I was wanting to say, we gonna vote to pass this grant, and then we gonna wait and see.
See what happens, Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm aware of this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But Mayor,
Yeah.
and I know you for me, before we research anything, you will make sure that all the infrastructure is been done and taken care of before we do this.
Yes, sir.
You went through that.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Been down that road. Been down that road, you're absolutely right, but you know, the project on Lauderdale, we've already appropriated money to do it. We're doing the engineering specifications now, get ready to do that. And we're not gonna have to tap up the street to do that, because we're putting the liners in those lines. The project that's on Franklin Street is another cave-in that we've already worked with the water board to get that one done. And we've given them a green light on getting the property. We need to move that pumping station out of the middle of the street so we can get that done. So we are working on all of the problems that we see now that's on those streets, so that when we're prepared, we can just mill, resurface.
But will you make sure that they, how you want to cut that asphalt down?
Yeah, we're gonna mill it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be milled. Yeah, you got, and that's another reason we want to try to do all of it. You don't want to try to piecemeal it, because see, if you go in, just the best example will be in front of the convention center, where you got about 6 inches of asphalt above the surface of the street. And if you don't mill it down, then you end up with this problem we got with the drainage. So yeah, so that's what we're.
All right, Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes, I'm not sure if this question is for the mayor or Mr. Thompson. What are the plans to get the extra money? I know we're applying for this $250,000 grant, but the project is for 1.3 million. So what are the plans to get the other money?
There are several, and let me do this. His boss is here. So, Ms. Wooten, you want to speak to that? I can, but why don't you go ahead and speak to it, since I've kept you up this evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, council, Mayor Perkins. Also, if there are any technical questions, Will Barrett with Civil Southeast Engineering has been holding on with us as well tonight since 6 o'clock. So if you have any questions for him, he's available. But so basically the breakdown that we have to try to get the funding is that 250, of course, we're going after the Rebuild Alabama grant. So a portion of that all of that portion will go towards the 1.3 million. Then we will have another about 280,000 of our Rebuild Alabama allocations, our annual allocations. We have stacked those, and so we would be leveraging those funds to go toward that project. And as Councilwoman Thomas, Janie Thomas said, that's one of the things that the league encourages you to do, is to leverage your RAA funds toward other opportunities so that we can get large projects like this completed. So that would be another $280,000. I don't know if Mayor Perkins want me to publicly say this, but we've calculated some numbers, and we will be approaching the Dallas County Commission, because as we know, a large amount of those Rebuild Alabama funds go to the county, and the city actually gets a very, very, very low percentage of that. And so we feel like this is a viable project that we should be able to go to the county commission, and they should be able to assist with some of the funding on that. So we do have a number that we would like to approach the county about. I don't know if the mayor wants me to make that number publicly available.
I did not, because I haven't had a conversation with them. And so media, please don't put that in the paper. Give me a chance to give them the courtesy that I had a conversation. But go ahead.
But to answer your question, Councilwoman Thomas, we do have a plan to get the full amount from mixed sources and opportunities that are out there.
All right, with that, I think that answered it. With that said, council, is there a motion to approve resolution R 133-21/22, authorization to apply to the Alabama Department of Transportation Rebuild Alabama Act Grant Program? All right, I heard Councilman Johnson first. Is there a second? I was moved by Councilman Johnson, properly seconded by Councilman Harville to approve resolution R 133-21/22. Are we ready for the question, everybody? Roll call, Madam Clerk. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Councilman Carmichael?
Yes.
Councilwoman James? Yes. Councilman Randolph?
Yes. Yes.
Councilwoman Jameson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Thank you, council.
I have a couple of announcements. George Washington called home, Selma, Dallas County, Alabama. Give me a Perkins. This is from the Alabama Historical Commission. The Alabama Historical Commission is pleased to announce that the above referenced property has been listed in the Alabama Registry of Landmark Areas. In the Alabama Register, the state official listing historic, architectural, and archaeological landmarks. The Alabama Historical Commission created the Alabama Registry to recognize Alabama's historic places and to encourage their continued preservation. Listing in the state register is an honorary designation. The information in the historic preservation program offered by the Alabama Historical Commission, please contact me. This gives this information was shared with Mr. Randolph Housing Authority, so we are pleased to say is recognized and give the city's contributions to the movement. And hopefully we will be able to leverage that for additional funding. Also, I was asked to announce that Northside Baptist Church located 2950 Citizens Parkway between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Friday, January the 28th, will have a law enforcement first responders appreciation day, and they will have meals and awards ceremony. So we want to thank them publicly, Northside. This is not the first time they've done this, and we want to thank them for their continued support of public safety personnel. I want to ask council right now, are there any questions that you have? If not, then I'm going to go ahead and ask the COVID czar if she would give the report. Are you prepared? Okay, well, yeah, the numbers are way up. And, you know, we've had a lot of our employees, a lot of, and it is a challenging operation. And so we, yeah, indeed. And you way mad. I said, you know better. I got so many antibodies I go. But I do want to encourage the citizens to just hold on. It's tough. I know everybody ready for this thing to be over. We're ready to drop the mask, go do what we do. I understand that those who attended the Economic Development Forum, you got notification. You got your notification, so go get your test. And you know, my thing is this, guys. I came to the conclusion about COVID over a year ago that any decision that I made about this was going to be wrong. And somebody's out. There is no right answer to the questions and challenges that we have.
And so since I know I'm gonna be wrong, I may as well err on the side of caution. And that's what we've been trying to do, err on the side of caution to do the best we can to protect the lives of the people who are working for the city and those who we serve. I did make a conscious decision, when we had these escalations before, I put out an executive order and came to the council and asked for an ordinance to put teeth in that order. I will not do that this time. I'm not doing it. So I'm asking folks, and the way this Omicron variant spread, Dr. Scott Harris said everybody gonna have it. So, but go ahead and get your vaccination, get your shots, and let's do what we can. But it's, I know some people may say, well, I don't need to waste your time talking about that. You need to go on and do something else. No, that's probably the most important thing I said about this situation. But people still are dying. And if you don't really realize it, over 5 million people have died from this disease worldwide. That's a lot of folks. In Alabama, we've had our share. In Dallas County, we're up, I think, around 213, 214, Dallas County. The treasurer council doesn't know that she's on. She's going to give a report at this time, coaching her through this. This is her first time in this rodeo. So, Ms. Smith, if you would come forward at this time and go ahead and give your report.
Good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I have a tendency of not speaking very loud sometimes. But anyway, if you will look at the packet for sales that was given to you by your city council administrative assistant, the sales tax for this month for December was up by $500,000, which is good.
A second, Don, would you go
It's
ahead?
a quarter of $250,000.
Go ahead and display the financial report. You have that available. Go ahead and put that on the screen. The financial.
Which report? I can't hear her. Which
That's
report?
the December financial statement. Do you all have some of you have it, but I just heard one of the council persons said they didn't have it, and so I wanted to make sure it's on the screen.
That's it. That's it.
It's on the screen. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Okay, sales tax was up for the month of December by $205,000, which is a good thing. Next one, Don. Okay. Lodgings tax was also up as well for the month of December. Next one. Tobacco tax was also up, as you can see, for the month of December. And the lodging surcharge tax, that overall, that was up too by a small amount, but it is up. Okay, the half-cent tax is also up. As now our simplified seller's use tax, it did go down for the month of December. As a matter of fact, it was down for the month of November. And if you're familiar with the simplified seller's use tax, it is based on the population, and our population based on the current census of 2020, it was down. So the collections for the simplified seller's use tax will not be as much as the previous year because of our population decrease based on the 2020 census. Next, Don. Okay, the municipal street gas tax, that was down a little. It was less than November, but it was still down for December. Next. Okay, the Rebuild Alabama tax, that is the tax that is was issued by the state of Alabama, Governor Ivey. It is, as you can see, it's a mixed bag. The gasoline tax was down, but the diesel fuel was up. Okay, you can go to the next one. Okay, this is a look, can that one be rotated a little bit?
Right click and do a rotation. Right click and then should pull down.
I've right clicked it. It doesn't give me an option to rotate it. I
Okay.
tried this and just refreshed it, so.
Okay, well, go to the second page for that one. Okay, for those of you who have your hard copy, you will see that our cash position for the year for the city is $17,008,948.44. That includes restricted and unrestricted funds. Okay, we can, that's it, Don. Okay, any questions?
Can you go back to your tobacco tax? You didn't say it was up, but it looked like it was down like 20,000 taken in for the month.
Which tax was that?
Tobacco tax,
Okay, hold on, let me get that.
I think you said it was up, but it looked like it was.
The tobacco tax for the month of December was up by $14,000 compared to last year. This time.
Okay, that's what I was trying to see. What is 32? It went up 30. That's why I was asking, is the difference in when we have with the tobacco tax? I asked last month, could they come back and tell me why at a certain point a month it would be up and it be down? So it's more than it's ever been in a while, 32,000 in December.
We're just doing a good job. Letting that money that's out there.
All right, and another thing I want to go back to and ask you, the reason why I want to ask you, what the diesel tax, this is the gas tax. The diesel tax, we get, I think we get diesel tax, the 10-cent tax for gas, and we get don't we get 4 taxes for gas?
We do get 4 taxes for gas. Hold on one moment, please.
And I have a question to ask you about this, because I want to ask you.
Okay, hold on one moment. I can. We receive the Build Up Alabama tax, the 4 cents tax. Hold on. Okay, we'll get this, the 4 cents tax, the 5 cent tax. There's a 6 cent tax and the state inspection fee.
Can I ask you this question?
Okay,
Are these taxes do you have these taxes in a separate, as coming in a separate account, on our general fund?
most of these taxes are restricted, so they're in a separate account and they're definitely a separate bank account.
Okay, that's what I want to know. I never, that's my question. So when we come come in, those 450 type of gas that they'll put in a separate account.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions, to council this time? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to recognize, Mr. Roper for doing an outstanding job on collecting our tax. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and I believe that you were the best fit, so thank you so much.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I want to take time to thank you, Mayor, for what you did for the employees. I also want to take time to thank Mr. Hicks and Mr. Smith for getting started. I really appreciate it, and the names I want to list, names I could, I want to thank Miller Funeral Home for the donation that they gave. William Scott, my boys from the Beard Johnson Body Shop, Councilman Atkins, Jensen, Councilwoman Lisa James, and Councilman Sam Randolph, and former Councilwoman Ms. Jennifer Crenshaw. But most of all, I want to thank all of the one restaurant for partnering with us to make this happen. It's a big, great day. I want to appreciate everybody for doing this. I think we had a good turnout. And I think that's pretty much it there, but I just want to take time to thank you for what you did. Now, all the council was willing to do, but every council had another event going on. But I know everybody couldn't do everything, so most of all, I want to say thank you to all the council that had other events going on during the holidays as well. But I thank the council that did help the board to do the employees. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, man. All right. I think now, council, I believe we put the executive session on the agenda right now. So can I get a motion to go into the executive session? All right. We just, how long y'all think we need?
10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes, okay. So we'll say 15 to be safe. And we can put that code section in there. And I can't remember it right now. We do. I usually
36.
All right. Council is a motion to go into executive session for 15 minutes pursuant to code section as indicated by Councilman Carmichael. Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and properly second that we go into executive session. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Hartman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jennifer.
Yes.
Councilwoman James Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. Thank you. All right, council, we're in executive session.
Just keep it out.
What I'm gonna do is step into the ladies' room.
Okay, that's fine.
Well.
All right.
I almost asked them something.
I'm gonna do that. Y'all gotta do it outside.
Everyone, we're going to resume with our meeting. We have the necessary council members present. Is there a motion to go back into regular session? Is there a second? Second. All right, it's been moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Jennison to go back into regular session. All right, are you ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harvey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James. Yes. Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jennison.
Yes.
Councilwoman James Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, council, for your votes. Now we'll proceed with the attorney's report. And I don't know about other council members, but have we received an attorney's report? Attorney Madison, I noticed today, I don't know the email was an issue. But I don't have anything from you since last year.
That report was sent this afternoon around 2 o'clock, I believe.
I assure you.
I believe you.
It didn't come to me.
I'm just saying I sent it.
Yeah.
My secretary sent it. I didn't send it. My secretary.
And so, none of us have actually seen an attorney's report. Am I correct in that? Okay. So, Attorney Madison and counsel, you help me here with this. If we haven't, I don't know how many items are in there or whatever, but I think that all of us would like a chance to at least look at it.
You need to see it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you don't have this. What
I haven't seen it. I've been wondering about it.
Do you have anything?
From city, accounts, it may take them a day or two before we get our email account. I don't know what the delay is.
It's a hiccup though.
But it's a major hiccup.
I have a copy of my email. I said 2. It's actually 4/14 that it was mailed.
Okay. With.
It was
You're
sent.
not using your setting, self-understanding.
I get everything from results.
You're not using your self-understanding, you're not using those email addresses.
That stuff don't work right.
It works better than going out to that other server, because that was a source of a hack or an attempt, there was something that was going on with it, and Gmail actually shut it down. At one point, when they do it, it takes a few days or sometimes a week or so to bring it back, reestablish the connection.
Well, you said email, it's still messed up, man.
I know.
It's still messed up.
Okay, all right, well, counsel, with that, I recommend that since there are documents that we do need to review regarding the attorney's report, that we table the attorney's report until we receive those documents. Is there any objection in that at this time? Any objection? Okay, well, attorney, we will just table and we'll take up those items at work session. Okay, all right, thank you. We'll now proceed on with any committee reports, and any committees want to report at this time. Any committees want to report? Councilman Carmichael and then Councilman Thomas.
Question, regarding the garbage, contract. And I don't know if this can be resolved or not, but it brought to my attention. when they go to get an extra garbage cart, the company is charging them extra for a second cart, not just the normal rate, but even more for a second cart. I would think that it would be cheaper for a second cart.
I think the new contract has the second card at $10 an hour. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember that? I think the second card in the new contract that we have.
I think it is less than $20.
It's less than 20, but I don't remember.
I can get you the.
It's less than 20, but it's less than the $20 a month in the new contract.
All right, well,
So I'm not sure what, we don't.
So I guess I need to figure that out with LDI.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And if LDI continues to try to charge more, then how do we? Do they need to contact the mayor's office?
That'd be fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Councilwoman James Thomas.
Well, the issue with what he just said, is I brought it to the chairperson, because the people in Mount Airy and Mount, and he paid up for the year. And he went to get another one, and, they wanted to charge him the $245. And, so, not only him, we have some other people that would like to be able to get, and I did see it, I read the contract, I did look at it. But it needs to be aware to them that when they come out, they're trying to get a capital one, and they need it, but pay for the whole year, they should charge them, which is said in the contract. So I don't know if they know that in the contract or what.
A family side, I mean, had one family side on one application, put it up on.
No, they people pay for it. They not, they pay cash, pay for the whole year, trying to get another one. The one can is not enough.
Okay, well, we'll refer to the council policy. Any other committee to report this time? Here, let's move on to the business, unfinished business and new business. Councilman Harville, spending, speedy. Oh, I'm sorry. I never disregard you. Councilwoman James Thomas, please proceed and please forgive me.
Okay, I wanted to have the, set up the, public building meeting, because I have some piece that I want to bring before the council for the public building meeting, to get that set up. I'm trying to get, that's the intention I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get married. Yeah, but he they out, so I'm trying to see can I get a public building meeting set up.
You know, we.
Miss Wade, I mean,
Miss
the number Wade,
Miss Ellison.
Miss Ellison, can you please, get them, we can set up this month. I'm on that time, because I'm ready for any time, and then I have to have these two guys here. These two guys here. That prefer daytime, you want daytime or you want? No, I wanted to, what's y'all convenient time? Y'all two are working around here.
Next week will be hard for me.
Business. What you busy?
4:30.
Okay, well, since you got next week, well, what about the week after next? Can you do it?
Yes.
And what day? What day can you?
Not Thursday.
About a month.
24th? Yeah. I can do that.
24th midway. I mean, is there? 24th. Okay. 24th at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
I can be here by 5.
Could you ask Ms. Minty, could she do it at 5? I know she probably.
We checked on it.
Okay.
We'll see.
And then I'll send her.
Not sure, we'll look.
And I'll send her the agenda, what I want to ask. Thank you, President.
You're welcome. Now, to the business item, Councilor Harville, go.
Oh. Speedy. What? I'm not fussing, I'm just asking because I'm ignorant. why don't we give speeding tickets? I mean, we're not able to tie it into the fact that we can write tickets all day long, collect them for speed tickets, different thing, or not get funding for speed tickets, or we don't have the manpower. Again, I'm not fussing, I'm just asking.
Let me say this, I don't see Chief Fulford on the Zoom, and I think he would probably be the best person to respond to that. So why don't we get with Chief Fulford, and find out?
And maybe it's a topic for public safety.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it.
Because I'm thinking too, you know, some of these, I hate to even bring them up because I hate them, but maybe some utilizing some temporary speed bumps or something.
But we'll address that to Chief Fulford, he'll be the part.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Council Carmichael, you can have the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items.
No, he's definitely. All right, the tree commission, I've asked about this several times, through email, calls, whatever, and can't seem to get an answer on this. Do we have a tree commission in operation?
Tree commission?
A tree commission, yeah. Yeah, it's in the code, it's division 19, on the community code.
I don't know.
It's budgeted, we pay an Auburn consultant to help us with our trees. It's written in the law, we have tree commission, so, and we've got lots of trees everywhere. You know, we've got limbs hanging down the road. Several issues with trees around the city that we really need a plan for upkeep. I know Public Works have a budget line item, I think, that has some tree cutting in it. And I'm just wondering if we got that in Public Works budget, and then we're paying an Auburn consultant, and we have a tree commission written into our law. Doing something to move this forward.
When you say laws, are you talking statutes or ordinance?
Local code.
Ordinance.
Yeah, division 19, yeah.
I don't know of any commission in effect, full force in effect at this time. What you want to know is why don't we have one, or what's needed to get one?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's written plain as day right there. The mayor and city council, who were chairman of the committee on street and sanitation, of the committee on parks and recreation, shall serve as executive member. The mayor shall appoint 8 additional members who are citizens of the city of Selma. 3 shall be appointed for 2 years, 3 shall be appointed for 4 years, and 2 shall be appointed for 6 years. Goes on about meetings, you know, everything. It's pretty plain as day right there. Talks about recommendations on getting trees, you know, cut down, trim them, planning, all that stuff. And so I'm just wondering if we can get this going. I know it was active under the last administration. And so I'm wondering if we can get it back going, because we've got an issue. We've got a real bad issue.
You said it was on the last. We didn't have a tree commissioner and,
Probably had that once since 2000.
I know.
But I just haven't gotten to the committee.
Okay.
I just haven't gotten to it, and we got to the department, I just haven't gotten to the committee. I talked to, in fact, Ms. Taylor and I talked, yesterday about that whole committee thing structure. She's working on pulling that information together, so we look at all of these committees, to try to get them engaged. We got some of them, but I just haven't gotten to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and does the same go for the planning commission, or is that something that we have already in place and work?
The planning commission is working, it's limping through, but it's working. Yeah, it's working. The historic committee is working, some of the committees are working, some of them actually got, some of them stood back up, but most of them we haven't actually.
So with the planning commission, when do they meet? Is that, will public notice go go out about that? And can I
Yes,
get an
it's supposed
application?
to, I think it's supposed to. Don't they,
Yes,
don't the notices go out on the meeting?
they do, but the building inspector's office handles.
Right.
Mr. Zelda.
Yeah, but the
I
notices
think they
don't,
meet the second, Tuesday.
yeah,
of every month. But yes, notices people.
yeah, but they
They
meet.
meet the second Tuesday?
If I'm not mistaken, in every month.
Tuesday,
Did they have people?
in the chamber?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They meet.
Okay, is there an application, process that you go through to get on that agenda?
I'm not really sure, but Mr. Lee.
That brings me to, the zoning board of adjustments. We talked about that in one of our last, trainings with League Municipality. That is a, council appointment. I saw where it was mentioned in the code, but I didn't go further into it. There is state code, 11-52-80. Talks about the creation of board of adjustment. And as I understand from our training, the zoning board of adjustments is anything that's going to be a change to the zoning ordinance. So you need that in place, because the planning commission takes something from the get-go and moves forward with it. But any changes to that afterwards have to be done.
The Board of Adjustment basically deals with variances,
Board of adjustment, yeah,
basically deals with variances,
for appearances.
variances.
Oh,
Variance.
variances, yeah. Adjustment. And so if you can look into that, Attorney Madison.
I already got it.
See how we can get that,
I'm making a list.
going, yeah.
We do already have a board of adjustment. If I'm not mistaken, they
Okay.
even there some issues that arise out of the planning.
What about the?
But Mr. Zelda, we are also the person.
Okay, well, it says one person from the planning commission can sit on the zoning board of adjustment. But that's it, one person, so the rest of them are council appointed, where the planning commission is mayor appointed. So it's two separate, they try to say, right.
I see Councilwoman Thomas.
Yeah, but that was, you know, we asked you to try and come back. On it, we come back to look at it, remember?
I remember a request.
You never
for-
did come back with it.
You asked
we never voted.
me, you asked me if I remember. I remember a request for all of the boards and commissions from Councilwoman Chrissy
No, I'm
Thomas.
not talking about that.
But you're talking specifically the
Yeah.
zoning.
Yeah, remember we said that, we supposed to came back and voted on it.
He was supposed to look into, Clay, you remember you brought that to the administrative committee?
What's that?
Zoning ordinance.
Oh, the zoning ordinance, yeah, we brought that up back in November of 2020, I think.
And we paid money for that.
Yeah, it's a zoning ordinance that Governor Bill Haywood did for the city of Selma in 2019.
Yes.
I think the city paid $45,000 for it, they finalized it, everything.
November of 2020.
We never passed, we paid $25,000.
So it's just one of those things, and I've sent that out to everybody, a couple of times, I think, it's got a interactive map with it, and everything, be very helpful. So I'll try to send that out again.
So what's the next step on that zoning?
What I was, what I wanted to make sure, I think when I brought it up back when we first entered office, you wanted to make sure building inspector and planning commission, who else had a look at it, make sure everything's good. When we went to the training, the last training, they did say that any zoning ordinance has to begin in the planning commission. But so I don't the council, well, then it's in the council's hands, and that's it, that's right,
We were
right
supposed-
there.
we were supposed to vote it in. It did follow the procedure, but we never voted it in. We never did.
So we can just make sure that, I don't know if we can search the minutes, beside it and see if, you know, when that came through, and just make sure that the planning commission did help with that. The zone, yeah, it was completely new zoning ordinance, that no one knows what it is.
And we had a copy of it.
And I will find that, and it has a date on it and everything. And,
I have a copy.
He's saying November of 2020, so we're talking about.
I think that could solve some codes. All right, there's are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
The Selma Redevelopment Authority contract, it has been brought to my attention that this has been, given to our attorney, but it has not been brought to us. Are there issues with that?
I don't know. You're saying there's a contract that was brought to me from the Selma Redevelopment Authority?
Yes, but for payment, we put them in the budget for $25,000. And, you know, according to the public purpose, we need to show why we're paying that organization. It's a no-brainer, it's economic development, but we asked them for a contract, I think, is what I understand.
Every piece of paper in my office over the Christmas holiday was organized into a file. I should be able to find it by tomorrow pretty easily. I vaguely recall a request from the, I guess it was former Councilwoman Youngblood, about a matter, but I didn't know that it was a contract. I'll get you an answer right away.
I think we need to move forward with that. We're keeping them in the budget, we need to get them paid, and they can do what we're doing.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did they present the contract to the attorney, or does the attorney need to draw the contract?
Well, they approved this contract.
Well, and she has a very valid question. Anytime any contract is presented to me, my first concern is, what's the basis of the contract being presented? We don't usually solicit contracts unless there's a negotiation between the city and a second party, to determine what the scope of work is, the term and payment and fund accounting and all that. So your question is a very good one. If they presented a contract, I can tell you that if I'm definitely sure I wouldn't have revised it and presented a new contract without bringing it back to this council, but I can get you the information right away.
Okay, we have a budget line item where the city's given an organization.
25,000, was it 25,000 you said?
So we got to have a contract of some sort.
Yeah, I've got that down. I've got that down.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. That was one, well, that ain't my question. My question too is, with Selma Redevelopment Authority. With us giving, I need, you know, I want to share your answer. With us giving, saying that the contract for the person that is going to be, a contract to, and it's saying that we are paying, that person themselves. Would that be where this money would be into a part of our audit, when our auditors do our books, where we have, now, I want to hear what you got to say. See, it's things that bother me, I wanna make sure when I get a vote. Is that a part of, would that be a part of our auditor, if we're saying we give you $25,000 to the downtown, people to the. Would it be?
Are you asking if this could become an audit exception if the money's not there, or what the source of it?
It is a part, it is part of our audit.
Every contract is a part of your audit.
Okay, and that's what was my concern because of, I'll let you get the contract and you read it.
Mhm.
You need to get the contract and read it, and then you will see, I'm not gonna ask any more questions, about nothing. Just get the contract.
You're talking SRA.
That's all, I don't have anything else. I just wanna make sure.
Got it. I got it.
Blackman contract? The Blackman contract?
Yes,
So a letter went out, for a breach of contract,
yes.
without council vote?
That was in your report tonight too, from me.
Okay.
The letter and the contract are in my report.
So the letter went out prior to us voting on that.
Voting on what?
For an official letter to go out stating breach of contract.
You don't get to vote on breach of contract, Councilman. It's either breach or no breach. The letter went out to give notice to the person with whom we had the contract of an opportunity to cure the defect of the breach. That's why the letter went out. Which never took place. The opportunity to cure the defect was included in the letter to the person who has the contract with the city.
There was not a letter threatening termination of the contract or anything like that.
The letter that went, let me just ask you to read the letter.
I've read it. Yeah,
Okay.
It seemed to me like it was threatening confiscation of property.
The letter served to point out that there was breach of the contract by the person who entered into the contract with the city. They were given specific terms to cure the defect in the contract, which never were taken care of. That person is then in default of the contract. That's not a council question. That's a legal matter of contract law. And the person received the letter. We got a green return receipt back into my office, I think dated December the 9th, saying that the person got the letter. Whether they read it or not, I can't answer. They received the letter, and we never heard back. There was a 2-week, 14-day period, which would have ended on December the 23rd, a couple of days before Christmas. And in the interim, that person sent in an invoice for, I believe, December the 10th through the 23rd. That invoice was paid. It was initially not going to be paid, but it was paid. I even called the person who had the contract to tell him that he could pick it up on the date that Friday, I think, after the check was cut, and was told, no, I'm not going to pick it up.
Okay, so there was a stop payment at one point?
I told the treasurer after we sent the letter out showing that the person was in breach, that they were not due to be paid. After the invoice came in, I went back and reviewed the date that the person received notice, the 14-day period within the letter to give them a chance to cure the defect, and said the 23rd was actually the last day that the person had to cure the defect. Since the invoice was received on or before that, I said, go ahead and pay it.
So you corrected the stop payment on that initially, is that what?
Yes, yes.
That,
And if they don't conform to the terms of the contract, they should not be paid.
you have that authority to stop payment?
Yes.
You do. I don't think that's right. I'm pretty sure the council is the only, is the only one that has the authority, the only body that has the authority to stop payment.
Can the council determine? Can the council determine when breaches occurred of a contract?
I think it should be brought to the council letters that go out.
You said threatening?
Yeah.
It wasn't a threatening letter, it was a legal letter. Showing that they were in breach of the contract, giving them an opportunity to cure the defect, which never happened. Have you read the contract?
Yes.
Okay, the contract calls for specific things, one of which is to not release any of the material generated at these meetings without approval from an authorized individual.
But it also says that you're gonna go live. It also says that he's gonna go live with it, which is immediate release.
Who said he was gonna go live?
That's what the contract says. He's recording live. So it's immediate release.
No, no, it's not immediate release, he's videotaping it.
On live.
It's released
on
after,
Facebook Live. He's live, he's recording you right now.
he releases after videotaping.
Listen, there's several issues here. One, the contractor does not have the authority to set up a social media page designated as an official city of Selma page, period. Didn't have that authority.
Is there one set up?
Yes, it was, and it had city of Selma material on it, and that was inappropriate. The contractor that you were paying was also videotaping and posting very disparaging information, misinformation about the city of Selma that was paying this contract. No,
I'm trying to follow
yeah, the misinformation, yes.
So you're saying there's an official city Facebook page set up by the contractor?
That was a page that was set up that had city of Selma information on it that was identified as an official page of the city. And that was my interpretation when I saw it. And I said, that's not authorized. You know, so we're not, listen, I said to the city attorney, and I even sent the president of the council an email when I saw what was going on at the amphitheater in the park out in that area, and the disparaging things that were being said about the city that were not justified. Even the former mayor met him at that location to try to explain what was going on with that situation. And had asked me to come down because not the former mayor George Evans met him at the site to explain to him what went on and have the contractor who put the equipment there. My concern was we should not be paying someone to say disparaging things about the city. That's my point. That's my point.
Okay, well, there's a line there where it becomes legal and not legal. And that's what I'm trying to get to here, because you can create lawsuits and whatnot.
Well,
when it comes to that, just because you don't like it, doesn't mean it's legal.
Well, at this point, listen, I have a responsibility we have a responsibility to protect the name and character of this institution. I'm not talking about the council, I'm talking about the city of Selma. And we should not be paying someone to put out disparaging information about our community. We shouldn't.
But we cannot restrict our First Amendment rights.
I'm not restricting First Amendment rights, but what I am doing is saying I'm not going to pay somebody to do what they're doing. If they want to do it, go ahead, but I'm not going to pay you to do it. So now I said to the city attorney, that contract needs to be terminated. And if the council wants to reinstate the contract under those conditions, what you know, do so. But I said it needed to be terminated.
And that is not your authority.
Yes, it was. I can terminate the contract. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can fire you. I can fire you. As the chief executive officer of the city, I can fire you. Now you can come back and reinstate it, but I can fire you.
Firing and terminating a contract are two different things. I just want to make that clear. We don't need to get it legal.
Okay.
Y'all remember the vote for reinstate.
There's another aspect of this that I would like to address too, President.
Okay. Let me, hold on.
I'll wait.
You said that these items were in your report for tonight.
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes,
And earlier we said that we were going to take those items. Is that correct, everyone? All right, so I know, but this item would be moving along a lot better if everybody kind of knew exactly what was going on and if they had seen everything. And so, we're not going to get in this tonight, are we? We're not. And so let's not do that. Let's, find out a couple of questions, because a couple of things have been said that I would like to check legally, whether or not it's legal or illegal or whatever. And so, which is good, because that's how we learn. And so let's revisit this at another time. I'm not gonna say Thursday, but Thursday comes quicker than we think, but let's revisit this very soon. And be able to have a better dialogue, because I think the dialogue we're having now is not producing good results. And so if no one objects, can we just move on and take this up another time?
I appreciate that, but like I said again, one that was, Mr. Councilman Carmichael brought it up, and we had already said that was on the table, that should have been.
Right.
Done,
Right.
trying to have that do with it.
Right. So let's just,
Councilman Carmichael kept it going. So
well, let's
let it ride.
let's move on.
Mr. President.
If there's no objection, yes.
There's an ancillary matter incident to this that I actually wasn't intending to bring up even necessarily with my report, but I think it bears mentioning here. The individual, and I've noticed I've never called anyone's name. The individual involved in this contract has shown up at various departments in the city, in one instance or some instances, asking for information, in other instances, repeatedly insisting and demanding. And I'm being told by department heads and my secretary, banging on doors and getting loud and disruptive, banging on my door. Let me, no, this is important. This is important. Banging on a closed door, shouting and demanding to see me when I'm not even present at my office. And my secretary was intimidated and frightened. Now, if that's funny, then I don't know what the criminal misdemeanor code is, which I believe I do because I prosecuted and sat on the bench of this municipal court. If that's funny, then what's happening is that person is going to be encouraged to do it again necessarily. And that could result in criminal action.
I believe this is not the best forum to bring this in right now, because the person might not be allowed to respond and all of that. The whole issue's been taken. And so I think that's what we need to stick to. Let's table this for right now, because this is non-productive.
I'm asking for certain behavior to be curtailed. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but without a person being able to respond.
That's fine.
Let's not
That's
do
fine.
this right now.
That's fine. That's
As the
fine.
Council has stated. All right, move on with your next item, please.
All right, next item is traffic signal resolutions. And I would like for Attorney Madison to review these and two resolutions. One is resolution 1 always discretionary function traffic signal. These are signals that I brought up before a couple of times. A past city council member back in early 2000 got Gadsden, the city of Gadsden, to donate historic traffic signal to the city of Selma. It was not followed through on. I followed through on it and found somebody that can rehab these signals and put them up, because according to federal statute, we're supposed to have 2 signals at each intersection. And this will be retrofitted with LED lights. Everybody should have that information. It was sent an email then the other, resolution is to accept donation of traffic equipment. I've been in contact with the city of Dothan, and they agreed that they're replacing all of their, lights in the city. They're replacing all their, cabinets, and the computerized controllers, and they agreed to donate it. So, this will upgrade the old mechanical stuff, computerized stuff, and they agreed to donate it. They have many of them, and I just want to make sure that the initial ones go in the historic district with the historic light, and that's in the resolution.
Mr. President, may I ask a question?
Please, go ahead.
Just trying to get some clarification, council, you, do you feel that you have the authority to decide where traffic lights go up in the city?
No, I feel like council has that.
You really do?
Yes. Yeah, if it's historic traffic lights donated by another city to replace outdated historic traffic lights, there aren't historic traffic lights.
And you think, is your understanding that we're supposed to have a traffic light at every intersection?
That's not what I said.
I thought that's what I heard you say. Did anybody else hear that? I heard it.
Well, let me clarify. I said according to federal statute,
yeah.
For safety reasons, you're supposed to have two per intersection rather than one. In case one goes out, the other one continues to work.
Well, council, I would caution you about accepting the gift, caution you about expending any resources on this project until it is duly authorized by the people who have the authority to decide how traffic flows in that community.
These will, just to make sure everybody understands, these will be replacing existing lights.
Yeah.
So it's already, the planning, commission has already gone through this years back, and that's why we have lights at these intersections. And what I'm trying to do is improve the intersection by adding another light, actually taking down the old one and put up two newly renovated historic traffic signals.
Council, what you're also doing, you're also assuming operations function for several different departments, and you are out of order in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion. All right, the next one is the city seal. The adopting use of the official city of Selma seal. I brought this before the council months back. Nothing was ever done about it. And we're operating with state statute says the city shall have a seal, not you might can use a seal, you might use a logo, you might can use an old bale of cotton. And say that you have a bale of cotton and still use this. That's not what the state statute says. It says we shall have a seal, and we should adopt that seal officially, and that's what I'm trying to do with this resolution. And everyone should have the attachments to it that to make sure that everybody understands what we're voting on.
Yeah.
Over the course of this past year. Again, it's not hard very long. So that resolution's there. Again, I'm not gonna ask for a vote on it right now. I want to make sure everybody reads it and discuss it at the next meeting. And that's it. Well, I had one other thing I wanted to add, and the mayor, he didn't talk about it. If y'all mind, we got a when we were looking at this camera system, government is. We got opinion, we got a privilege and confidential, letter of intent, I guess, so to speak, from Ken Darrendall, Attorney Benjamin Goldman, to give us an opinion on that, help us move forward with that, make sure we're going in the right direction. Everybody has that in front of them, and this is a review of assistance with citywide camera system procurement. Contract there to hire Attorney Benjamin Goldman, and the hourly rate is $285, and the associate's rate is $190. And he made a resolution up for us so that we could move this forward.
Council, I'd just like to go on record in opposition to this action.
Yes.
So this is something that I think we do need to vote on, because I don't think, I think we've wasted enough time on that. We need to make sure that we've got the right, we need to make sure we're legal and lawful.
Mr. President, my opposition is not necessarily an approach, it's in the language of the contract. So I have a question for you, Mr. President. Were you aware of the language in the contract prior to this?
You talking about the actual resolution?
Yes, sir. The document hasn't been presented, but I didn't see it until this evening. I was placed in my hands this evening. And so, were you aware of the language associated with this document? Was that
I am aware.
you were aware,
Yes, sir.
and you concur?
Is there a specific, there's a specific item that you take issue with?
The city council will be our sole client in connection with this matter. And the council president will be our primary contact. So my question is, are you accepting or assuming responsibility for operations in the municipal government? As per this contract, that's what this is saying.
Mr. President, I haven't seen the document at all.
Well, let me say, first of all, the attorney that drew this up specializes in municipality. This is their specialty. In fact, the Alabama League of Municipalities recommended that we go to this attorney. I say that to say, the way they drafted this document, they are well aware of all of the authority and all of the rights and all of what the different branches do. So I would submit that they would not have drawn up the document that would have been invalid, illegal, and not compliant with Alabama law.
But do you feel that that is in the best interest of Selma at this time in the political climate that we have?
I believe that it's really not, it's only an issue if we make it an issue. I believe that because this is a matter that the council is voting upon and has to make a decision on, I personally don't see a problem with the council being a point of contact, as long as they're forthcoming with what's coming out. I plan on being forthcoming with everything they tell me. And so I really don't see an issue unless we make an issue.
Well, the only way they are going to be able to do this task is to work with members of the executive staff. And if you are the primary point of contact, that means you're managing this process. And and I'm just trying to understand, if my interpretation is wrong, then let's clarify the language. You understand what I'm saying?
And you know what, I hear you. Because my interpretation of sole contact means I'm gonna be the one they send the documents to.
Well, we're the contract.
Right, but not that I will have a hand in on talking to them and telling them, because I'm asking them to tell us the law. I'm just basically want them to tell us the law. So I don't see this as one of those big contracts where it's a management type system. When I see point of contact, I just think that they're gonna send me whatever their product is, and I'll be responsible for giving it to everybody. I don't see this as being a management type situation.
And the council has
So then let me, let's then not find ourselves in another contract that only specifies an hourly rate, but no specific statement of work. Because, I mean, at this point, what specifically is the deliverable?
It's all issues related to the security of citywide campuses.
So it's
all issues related to securing citywide campus.
So this is a contract requesting a legal report.
We want legal opinion on all issues involved in securing of citywide campuses.
That is the deliverable, a legal report on that. Okay.
From an attorney that specializes in this area. Would I object? Well, I mean,
the resolution speaks to the mayor and the council president, permitted where the ordinances allow. I see that as a resolution.
And
what I am concerned about is the document we're going to sign that we're going to be executing. And I wanted to just be clear of where we're going with this.
Well, man, I don't mind if both of us are point of contact. I think that'd be great. Two heads are always better than one. And so I think that'd be fine. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, someone has to be the contracting party. It doesn't matter. I mean, the council's the one that approves the contract. So they've got to be a party to this contract.
But again, I wouldn't mind having your name on there as well as being permit. That's not a problem.
Well, why we just get this, like, can we table this until we get our opportunity to review this?
No.
A little bit more? Because I may want to call the thousand portion of, you know, I mean, right now, I don't think it's bad.
I hear what you're saying.
All other items, we always table them in the last minute review, and I think we all definitely get an opportunity, because you all want to perform, it's not bad.
Well, any council member at this point has the right to make a motion to do whatever they see fit. Any
I'd like to
council
make a
motion.
motion to table this, Mr. President, until we get a chance to review this law.
All right, is there a second? All right, it's been moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Randolph to table this matter at this time. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Come back to me, please.
Councilman Harville,
No.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
I'm fine with tabling it, because if you're gonna add the mayor's name on here, then it's gonna have to be done. But at our next meeting, we need to take care of it.
Councilman Carmichael,
No.
Councilwoman Day,
Yes, for the same reason that Councilwoman, Christie Thomas said.
Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Atkinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jane Thomas.
No, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. It's time for the city to get these cameras and move on, make a decision. This thing about we dealing with this since 2021. We've been at a standstill. We need to make the right direction and move on with the project.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Back to me. I follow Councilwoman Christie Thomas' logic. And for that reason, and also in hopes that we can get something drafted that everybody can agree with, my vote is to take at this time.
Thank you, Council. And, I just want to ask that we be very deliberate about the language for the delivery. What we are actually buying, what we expect to receive.
Mayor, would you mind having a conversation with me
Absolutely.
regarding creating the draft?
Looking forward to it.
That you would deem appropriate?
Looking forward.
Okay.
And President Young,
Yes.
I intentionally kept quiet because I haven't even seen the document. And-
Yes, sir.
And apparently it's the feeling of some of the council that I don't need to see it. That's another issue for another day. But you've also asked me to get in writing verification of discussion I had with another expert in the field of municipal law, Rob Johnson at the League of Municipalities. I've sent him a written communication to do that. Spoke with him today by telephone. He was going to draft that and send it to me after having Laurie Lyon review what he was sending to me.
And it was Laurie Lyon is the one who recommended us that we.
I understand. I actually don't have a problem with this.
I know you, yeah.
I really don't. And I just wanted to point out that I was asked to get something in writing from Rob Johnson. Since I said I talked with him already. I think you should see that. I think you should see that too.
This is still, cities getting cameras, they've been doing it a while, but it's been a whole long time.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of law out there.
Mhm.
And so what we want to do is just to make sure that we do it right.
Yeah.
And so, because it involves, while to the base, to us right now, we think it just involves one thing. This involves a whole lot of little issues that are raised in doing this. That's why I say all issues related, not just bid law, not just the actual terms of the contract, but the constitutionality of it, all of it. And so that's why we wanted to get someone to help us with this. In fact, it's my belief that after we do this, that other entities and municipalities that are security probably follow Selma.
I've already had one call us about our garbage initiative.
Right.
Saying they want a copy of it because they want
But what we're
to,
trying to do,
they want to
because this is still
emulate
not
it.
really, we just want to get it done, get it done.
Not going to prolong this, but I just want to let you know that I actually agree. I just didn't agree with the language.
And I
think we needed to get the language more thorough.
And I agree with you, yes. Okay, now, next item, Councilman Randolph.
Yes, I put that on the agenda because I was concerned about COVID is in worse. I know some of the municipalities, once a month. Research is but the law calls us to meet twice a month. And it said on separate days, we meet like a day. And you adjourn me and come back in and do another meeting. That's twice a month. And it said about and on separate days.
We're gonna have a work session then we together.
No, we can have two council meetings on the same day.
Right.
So we don't intend to go there, right?
You have two council meetings, adjourn on one hand, then go another. Because COVID is bad.
Right.
We go everywhere we want to go, we go. You just got to.
Yeah, I know, because we all go play.
Go everywhere.
We go to all this, you know.
Everywhere we want.
All right, let's keep it going on time.
Yeah, but, and what I'm saying is,
So we have to have two regular council meetings.
Yes, sir. Can you do
It does say about that.
I'll give you.
One second, we don't have to have one. We're gonna have council, try to not have a long meeting. But, Attorney, can you do some research on that? See, can we, have two meetings on the same day, because also we have to have two meetings
2 weeks, this What do you think?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not willing to do that.
You have one vote. I ain't not one vote.
All right, so now I get the gavel, Councilor Johnson. Hold on. So that we can move through this. I think Councilor Randolph, you asked to do the research. And so let's do the research and then we can make an informed decision. Okay, great. All right, thank you, Councilor. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, I mean, we gotta have enough of us willing to do it,
right.
I mean, to move forward, so while we stop doing that, we're not gonna do it.
Well, he didn't call for a vote, so that's why.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay.
My point, I mean, I'm just bringing that up. I mean, are there enough people willing to do that?
Well, do you want to make a motion or something? I mean, I'm not going to stop you without making a motion. All right, I think where we are, Councilman Carmichael, is you did ask him to find out. And I just feel like once we get all the information, we're in a position where we can make a decision. That's just my process. Yes, sir.
And I appreciate it, Councilman, concerned about other folks. Because I appreciate COVID ain't no joke. A lot of people take it lightly, but I'm not. And like I said again, we put a citizen out here as well. I mean, and I appreciate it because I recall one time when I first got to be on council, we didn't even have a session this week, but council meeting. But the work session will have speed and short the council meetings. But it look like the council meeting longer than the work session. You know, so but that's the purpose of the work session, to short the council meeting. But I think it's a good suggestion on Councilman Randolph. Attorney Nelson, you look into that again, and just be up till we get 5 votes and then it'll be a little.
Right. And that's what we have to do. All right, let's move on to the next items. Councilwoman Jane Thomas, you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
You got our reading, you got count.
Good to see you.
My first item is on here, dealing with traffic light, the light. Right on Nottingham. The resident of Nottingham, I am to vote on the floor. But Nottingham is a resident where no light. It is pitch black dark. That resident has suffered long enough. There is no street light, period. When you go down 10th Avenue, when you get to Nottingham, it is pitch black dark up in there. And the resident, I didn't know that because I didn't know that all this long time ago, we never have a street light. It's pitch black dark. And once those people go in, they don't come out. You know, I talked to what the resident told me. She said that she appreciated it. I told her I came to 10th Avenue and I looked. There's no street light. So I'm requesting that they have a street light put on Nottingham.
So you're talking about a street light or a traffic light?
No, street light.
Okay, so it should be street light.
What's the reason everybody's confused, Councilwoman Thomas? It's got traffic light on.
No,
What you mean?
it's supposed to be a street light.
I got it, okay. That's what I was thinking.
Councilwoman, is there a poll there?
Yes, sir, but
Okay,
it's
you
not on
don't need a vote for the council.
to get a light.
Just let me know.
Okay, they need one. They don't just pick black out.
Just get with me and give me the poll location of the poll number.
Okay, okay. I get the
That's a
vote.
simple request.
Okay,
The poll number usually works best.
okay. My next item on here is the caution light on Summerfield. That caution traffic light, it was working. They Levi, what's his name, Leadell, he never did go back. I put the work order in maybe 3 or 4 times to get that caution light between Kingsley and Summerfield. We need that, or either they get a new one up there, put another one up there. They need it. They have asked me. The next is work order request. And the reason why I asked this about the work order request, because there's a new way that we can, that the city needs to get, like, in the in the work orders through our, secretary. And we have work orders been put in months and months ago and have not been done. So the new system, the way that they're doing, I did some research. They have a system set up, through the public work department where you can put your work order in, which we already, I think they already got a secretary out there, where it's a system that you put the work order in, and then that gives the public work director and his secretary to see if this order has went out to the departments, people in the department that you put it in, that you request. And I would like for us to, because I think that the system would like to serve it better by them being able to call in and put that work order in. They got a site that you can set up for us to place those work orders in, so that the system keep calling, asking you to put in, you keep putting the same work order in. So I'm asking that I want to bring something the next work session of how this project, this how it works. Because it's working in other things in the work done. Because they said the legislative branch really not supposed to be we're supposed to put the request in, but we're not supposed to be keep trying to find out where our work being at. Follow up on it, should we be able to come back to us with it, if it's done, if it's not done. I want to bring that to the next work session. Yes, and my other thing is about gas tax detail law. The reason why I'm asking this is that I think that if we start using I was reading in the selected reading with some of the issues that we have that are 5 cents, 10 cents, 4 cents gas tax that we give is supposed to be used for some of the things we need, like traffic lights and things like that. And I would like to that our city will start using our gas tax towards some of the equipment that we need right now on some locations that we got in our area where the traffic light out Boynton, and Boynton has been out so long. People travel there every day, kids go to school, and people, it's an intersection like a four-way going across and coming together. And that is the traffic light, and it's been out too long. So I would like to look at, we'd like to use one of our taxes that we use for our gas tax that we take in. I was reading on our selected reading, is to help out traffic light. So I would like for us to start looking at that our gas tax detail on how our funds are supposed to be used for things that we need that we're asking for our work.
Just to see if I understand you, Councilwoman, you're talking about a chart for the various
Yeah.
various taxes and their prohibited uses and authorized uses.
Yes, they have there in the selected reading with each gas tax that we get, that we take in.
I know where they are. I've already talked with the treasurer about it.
Yes, because that's too long for the traffic light to be out, and we haven't bought another light. We got them in several places that the lights need. That's important. You know, it causes a lot of accidents in that area. So we need to get that light, get us a new light, whatever box or whatever put up there, so we can have a better, safer information. And my next is, I know everybody remembers I took this class so many times, and with the issues that we have with our Wi-Fi, do y'all remember when we talked about IT in the box, dealing with, we were talking about our updating our police department, where we used to get the police report and stuff in the paper and other things that we, prior to the last 4 years that we haven't done. And you know, we said we got our new IT person. But there's things that I looked at that like we have problems with our, when we come here to have our, council meeting, our Wi-Fi, system doesn't pick up, we have, and I would like for just to look at it, look into it and see if there might be some things that can help us in the city with our Wi-Fi in our building, public people being connected to the police department, other things that we need, that we don't have to want again.
Councilwoman, that is one thing I feel 100% certain you're very interested in. And I see.
Yeah, I've been reading for the last 4 years, and I think it will help the city of Selma. And it'll help our police department, it'll get us back where we used to be. Okay. All right. And my last, I need some. Yes, sir. You forgot about my, it was my, personnel. No, I do it.
Thank you. All right, we've already taken up the bid reports, so that concludes all the items that were under new and unfinished business. So with that said, council, next council meeting is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2022. Next work session is Thursday, January 2022. There being no further business, yes, ma'am.
You gotta get this here, get this straight, the vote, we gotta go back and revote. The tree, vote for, we had said that, Harvey and me, with the tree, getting, what's the name of the company to come in? We voted.
Selma Tree Service.
Sure, but now, the public work director did send the order, it's over $7,000. You know, if we do over $7,000 with the, do the credit card is tied up in there. So we gotta go back and change the vote to agree to the sheriff for the $7,000 or so.
Do we have an invoice in front of us or anything?
She has it right here.
If the confusion came in on this invoice, it's $7,400. That is with all the descriptions on it. We got property.
So we need to go back and vote on approval of $7,400.
That would be $7,400 instead of $3,800.
Okay.
See, we don't have to get paid.
With payment to come out of where?
You all stated on the appropriate.
So is that going to be your,
Yes, because we already voted, you gotta keep the registry.
so we want to,
That would include him.
okay,
It'd be the whole thing, because they said they
for
already.
boards, which boards, it was you, Councilman Carmichael, and Councilman Harvey.
And Harvey.
Okay, so council, we have before us a previously submitted invoice, and we would like to rescind our previous vote and take a vote to pay Shelby's Tree Service in the amount of $7,400 for those areas in Councilman Carmichael, Councilwoman Janie Thomas, and Councilman Troy Harvey. Is there a motion to approve said statement made by the chair? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Councilwoman Christie Thomas and properly seconded by Councilwoman Janie Thomas to rescind the previous motion and to approve payment amount of $7,400 for those council members, areas that those council members mentioned for Shelby's Tree Service. Are we ready for the question? Roll call now, clerk.
President Jones.
Yes.
Councilman Harvey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James. Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jennison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, council, for your votes. There being no further business of the Selma City Council, this meeting stands adjourned. Okay. Good night.